Okay, I'm pretty sure.
Good. Nice. So. No. Okay. The what? 11 o'clock, we'll call it to order, say the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty. Okay. Roll call. Dudek. Yes. Greenia. Yes. Pencil.
Yep.
Berenger. Smith here. Okay, folks, we got a lot of another meeting with a lot of material to cover. Let's hope we can get through this tonight in an orderly fashion. I did put out a copy of this paper here for you all to read. And I'm asking you for order so that we don't drag this on for 4 hours again. Just a quick state of the township. Right now, we are, struggling, I guess. Our bills aren't paid. Credit card was turned off. And we have other issues going on too. So if you all bear with us tonight, we're going to try to work as a team and do this professionally as we can. We have too many, I guess, disagreements and personality conflicts, and we need to be up here on a professional capacity and work for you people. That's what it's about. There's givers and there's takers. I came to this job to help the township out and hopefully lower the taxes eventually, make it more efficient, do a better job of running it. Now, so far, I haven't done that at all. I have a lot of obstacles. I'm trying to overcome them, and I hope you bear with me a little bit. And let's just try to get through this stuff. So first thing is, you can do comments from you people. And we have Michelle Burke. She brought hers up first, so.
It's more of a suggestion. I was here last month and it was a pretty chaotic meeting. I would suggest that everybody read the book, Robert's Rules of Order, and get the meeting going and actually get a whole lot of stuff done. More stuff. I'd like to see Columbus be successful.
I agree. Thank you. Mr. Hetzel.
I submitted an appeal for the FOIA that I received. I feel it was unjust that, it was $25 and then it was $150 with no paperwork to back it up. I feel it's retaliation. It's supposed to be the cost of the lowest paid person. You're past the timeline. So I think the board should vote on whether you give me my money back because you're past the statute of time.
Good.
About it.
Good, thanks. Okay, approval of the agenda.
Well, there's more comments, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, you're right, there is one. No, maybe not, I don't know. No, that's it, 2 comments. One's my wife. All right, so approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
We need some changes. Why is routine business at the bottom? Routine business is always at the top. So you can approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Move to the top. Sure, I'm good with that.
Routine business needs to be number 1.
Okay.
Well, actually,
Right under approval of agenda?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else?
Martha, could
Well,
you mute
there-
that, please?
There's some other items that need to be removed. They shouldn't even be on this agenda tonight. There's no documentation for number A, sign checks to pay bills.
What,
Number E, there's no documentation to show that anything happened there. H, address credit card being canceled. Where's documentation that it was canceled?
it's there,
Where?
it's with the late fee and the late and the interest. I gave everybody.
Why wasn't it in the packet for Thursday at noon?
Okay, Stan. you have to calm
Yeah,
down,
just calm- yeah.
Francis. Why wasn't it? Because I got that yesterday,
But then we can't talk about it.
No,
so. Oh, my goodness, and this is how we're gonna. move the
Okay.
business forward.
No, you're not gonna-
I
you're
would
not
like
gonna
to-
deny
Okay,
information for me to make a good judgment call on a vote.
okay,
okay.
we agree, we agree.
On A where it says sign checks to pay bills, we discussed this with the attorney about adding the 2 deputies to the checking account only. So that if Kim can't sign a check, her deputy can, if I can't sign a check, my deputy can. But we have to put that in the minutes, and the 4 of us will have to go to the bank. I already called the bank, and see what we had to do, and the 4 of us will have to go to add those 2 onto the checking account.
Okay, so what are we taking off here?
Need the deputy, clerk to not be going on.
Absolutely. If I get hit by a car, which was your line last month, excuse me, who's gonna sign the checks? That's exactly what you said last month when you said you wanted your deputy on.
But,
Then the same thing happens with me. What if I get hit by a car?
but we only need 2 signatures.
It has to be 1 from the clerk, 1 from the treasurer. It's against the law to have 2 people from the same department. You need to call the MTA and verify that if you don't understand that, because I called again to verify it. The bank doesn't care. The law requires 1 from each department. It's called checks and balances.
I know what it's called, thank you.
Okay, so you want to get rid of what now?
To be item E.
Martha, you gotta mute that microphone or what?
Yeah, please. Item E, you want gone.
I want gone.
What else? I know.
H,
There was documentation in there also.
for the credit card being canceled?
Yes,
I don't think I got a copy of it.
I have all this stuff in line, in order. You should have the same material I have. It should be in there. What else you got?
K should be removed.
Thursday date to remove us was not in compliance.
Why should K be removed?
That was last
You don't
meeting.
need
We watched the video. And there was no motion for her to move.
Sure there was.
No, there wasn't.
Yes, there was.
There, what video?
The meeting?
From the meeting.
Which one?
When would you talk about? The January, was that a special board meeting?
The movement was a January meeting.
The January meeting?
Yeah.
When all that was announced, there was never a motion, a second, and a vote.
And there's no
The-
documentation.
Is it in the minutes?
It's in the minutes and
But here's the thing,
If the minutes don't match the video, there's a problem.
Sure.
here's the thing we have to take into consideration, some things, and we talked about this before, Stan, when Bruce was here. Sometimes there is no documentation, you have to move forward with business. How do I have a documentation that says sign checks to pay bills? You wanna look at all the late notices on all the emails I've gotten saying I haven't gotten a payment? Or the one I got today from the county that says, following up on my previous invoice, can you let me know when we expect payment? And she sent it to me on January 30th and then again today.
All checks have been out. I
I have
signed all
no
the checks
copies.
under duress, but I did sign them
I don't
and
have
they
any.
were sent out.
I don't have any of those copies of the checks.
All
and
right,
the
I have
invoices.
them.
let's move on with approving the agenda. Let's get through that first, because that's all on the agenda there.
Checks, the checks, is that where we're going to put?
No, we're taking checks off.
No, nobody said they're taking the sign the checks off.
No.
It was a request.
Deputies, right? Is that what you want to
I
add, the
wanna
deputies?
add The deputies to the check.
Well, that'll be in with
Part of
that.
the agenda.
How do we know that that's lawful?
That would be,
What?
It's always been that way.
The checks require two signatures. One is the clerk's and one is the treasurer. And the deputies for each work in the absence of or in substitution of due to, it doesn't have to, it could be unavailable, on vacation. The township business is the laws are met so that the township business can continue.
Right,
talked
in
to
the
the-
absence of.
of one or the
treasurer
other.
clerk.
Right.
So
So
it's
the
just
only,
gonna be on the bank accounts only,
Only on the checking account.
so the general ledger. Or
Yeah,
the
or the
general
pool.
fund, the pool.
Yes.
Okay, we'll leave A then.
all right, so you wanted C off, and, if
What-
it is in our packets, then can we talk about it?
On an E, not C, E.
E,
I'm sorry, yeah,
Which one, I'm sorry?
well,
E,
aren't E and A kind of the same thing?
no,
Um,
no.
and then, 8.
Hold on,
What?
Stan's talking right now. What do you want to finish
I
here?
want H off of there too.
You don't, just for a point of order, you do not need a piece of paper to prove that something happened. You can, if it's brought up or somebody experienced it, it can be discussed. Doesn't have to be stricken from the agenda.
Okay, do you have this
Is that
copy
E
in your,
business, correct?
folder?
No, I don't. I
Do
did
you
not
have
get the
this?
membership where,
Do you have this one?
Yes, I did.
Then you should have it also.
I don't.
I have it in mind. We all picked them up at the same time.
Yes, I gave them to everybody. This pertains to H.
The township business is not beholden just to documentation, right? That's additional proof. But discussions at this board can happen despite the documentation being there or not being there, because some things just don't have a documentation.
Well, I definitely want K gone, and I'll tell you why. You can't force somebody to move.
Yes, you can.
We called and previous board when there was an issue with her with a sexual harassment claim.
That was
We voted to move her to
into
the other
basement.
department and she never moved. She
Yes.
refused.
Well, I don't know, I wasn't here, but I can tell you right now, I've done my research, I've talked to the MTA lawyer. The MTA lawyer has stated, I've done my research, the research has stated. The property of this township belongs to its board. And if a board decides to move somebody, they can designate. Martha, you gotta mute that. When the property of the township is decided by the board, how it's to be delivered. Can we stop for a second? Can we make a motion to have Martha either stop
Make a
or,
motion to either turn the speaker off.
Thank you.
so,
or distract.
so back to what I was saying.
The board.
The township board rules this township, all right? It legislates from the meeting, makes a decision upon a motion. That resolution is in effect law to the limits of the township's capacity to create law, right? Obviously, they can't change statute, they can't change the constitution, but there's within its powers, okay? Nobody is authorized by law to have a lock on their door, okay, for their own office, for the MTA. That's all at the pleasure of the board. If everybody chooses to put everybody in a bullpen, that's at the pleasure of the board. How the board decides to do this is how the board and work with township property, and the access to township property is wholly within the board's discretion. So if there's a question as to whether or not a motion was brought or not, that's a different story than the capacity for this board to legislate. And this board has the ability to legislate upon moving offices, designating offices, where the locations are. What also isn't allowed is, in the instance of the treasurer in this case, allowed to hold up in an office that doesn't belong to her, which was the kitchen. Okay, it was a shared space, but it was a kitchen, and hold everybody, the township ransom for not being able to have access to it either, right? So somebody's got to be able to make that decision. That's the board's
But
decision.
I was holding anyone ransom.
Did you not lock the door? Did you not prevent people from going in there? All those things
Yes,
were,
exactly. That.
and those are, hold on, let me finish. And those, if the board decides that that's inappropriate for the use of township property, they have the right to say that, and they have the right to remove the lock, and they have the right to assign you what office they want, as everybody else, right? Same thing with the phones or the laptops or any other equipment. All that property belongs to the township, and the township board has the duty and the ability to figure out what to do with it. Now, you guys might all say, we want everybody to have locked offices. It might be better to say, you know what, it's better for the clerk to be in this office or that office, and I mean, you guys will have to get along. But when it comes to what are the capabilities of the board, both the research that I've had and the MTA, which corroborated that, says it's the township board makes a decision. The township board has the opportunity, makes that decision with regard to the property, and that's what people are supposed to follow.
Okay, now I also have did you read in your packet there, all the emails about the move? That was all in your packet also. Kim did agree to move. The emails went back and forth to her and Steve. She did agree to move.
I thought we.
So
were-
did you read
Yeah,
that?
I did.
Okay,
Was there any consideration the cost that's gonna be involved to have high tech come in and reroute the
they
computers
don't have to rewrite.
and
it.
Unitel? Yes, they do.
Well, they don't. They both have the same capabilities.
Sink is where people can wash their dishes, because frankly, I don't wanna wash my coffee cup in the bathroom 6 feet away from the toilet.
All right, so
That's a
we're,
no-
Well, actually-
we're still getting off track. We're still getting off track here. Let's stick with the move.
Agenda.
The move was agreed upon, and is it gonna happen or not? Did you, if you,
No, we're gonna.
is it gonna stay on
Okay,
the
yeah,
agenda?
all right, that's item M. Budget adjustment.
Okay, what's,
I have no information on it.
That would be Kim would have had to provide us if she had.
I
stuff.
didn't put this on there.
I know, but we need to address it. We've discussed it at the last 2 meetings, that we needed to do a budget adjustment for roads and bridges.
right,
So that's just the, speak about.
right, well, it's just to discuss it.
That's what the budget is, just to speak about it.
All right, and I want Q removed.
The winery update? And why is that?
Well, that should
Because
be,
it's been turned over to MMNRNA.
Well, that's what we were gonna announce.
well, it should also be in a closed session.
Yeah, that is.
No, actually, it's not in a closed session, actually. Because it's not under litigation. You can't have a closed session unless you were in litigation.
What do you know, Steve?
Apparently,
Well,
Apparently nothing.
It doesn't matter because it is listed as it must be in a closed session in the Open Meetings Act. It has to be an open session.
All right, well then,
Unless
let's just
with
strike
a-
the winery, so
Can
we can
we,
move on.
All
We
I
already
want,
spoke about it, let's just strike it.
yeah, we gave it to the insurance company. That's
Why did
all.
it even need to be on there then?
So the people would know what's going on, Stan.
Q's gone.
Okay, Q's gone.
I would like to add the lawyer's report to the bottom of the agenda with regard to two new issues that are brewing.
And it's,
under 6, new business?
It can be under 6 new business, yes.
Okay.
okay, so B lawyer report. All right, I would like to remove this information that we just received today because we did not have time to look at it or study it. This was from Kim. So I make a motion to remove that stuff.
Only 2 of those were from me, the other one was not. But that's fine.
Well, what does this have to do with? Do we even know?
Just, it's.
I don't
the
even
CD,
know.
And I
But,
did.
but we have enough on our plate, so I didn't want to even bring it
Well,
up.
Yeah, but hold on, we have what we have on the agenda about CD, so
But we also had on the agenda about the treasurer attempted to remove clerk from the bank account, and Stan wouldn't accept it because I gave that to you today along with the credit card thing today. He won't let it stay on the
That's
agenda
fine.
because I brought it today. So then that means what Kim brought today, if we want to be childish, then we shouldn't look at that either.
I mean, my suggestion would be, and you guys are the ones who vote on this board, but my suggestion would be not to be childish, to get the township's business done
I agree.
and move past these issues. But that's just
This
my
is nothing here, though.
suggestion.
My suggestion would be, let's leave all this on, let's get through it and resolve some of these issues because they're lingering and we're never gonna get where we can do our business that we need to do. We
Yeah.
just wanna do.
So what do we need to get, what do we need to do with the approval agenda? For the motion?
Well, I'm confused on which one we even took off.
Q,
I don't, he was the
the
only. one we're
winery
taking
is off. Everything else, I
And the
believe,
only thing we're
can be
changing is
addressed.
we're, in
I
A.
thought
about-
E was coming off because there's no
No,
information.
no.
No, we stopped, we got enough.
We want to move the
We
check
just-
register up at the top and the meeting minutes at the top. Approve the minutes, so that'll be A and B, so the rest of them will go down in sequence.
And H you were supposed to take
No,
off.
we're not taking anything off. I thought the winery.
Only thing that's being removed is Q. Everything else will be on the agenda.
Everything else, and then on A, we're adding, putting deputies on.
And I got,
Why do we have the check register on twice though?
See,
It's on C
Agenda.
and then it's in routine business it's A.
Called the learning.
What's the learning?
I would
Why is
scratch
it on
C
there
then.
Why
twice?
is it in there? Because he accidentally put it in twice. It's called.
fine, scratch C, we got it on the bottom. I made a mistake, folks, I'm sorry. You can crucify me later.
all right,
Let's get through the.
so,
All right.
all right,
Let's move on.
hold
Are we
on,
gonna-
no. Do we have a motion on the table? So
I will make a motion to approve the minutes with the addition of deputies on checking under item A,
Approve the
Approve the
agenda.
agenda?
or the, what I
And
said.
moving routine business,
I'm
Oh.
gonna say approve the agenda as presented. This, moving the things is really just for your convenience. I don't think we need to vote on where we put things on the agenda. It's not critical, I
No.
wouldn't think.
I don't-
so Q will be removed.
Q will be
Okay, we're gonna-
removed.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended by adding deputies on checking to item A and removing item Q. Does that sound right?
and
Steve?
C,
And C,
Oh,
yeah.
C,
As a
because we have
duplicate,
it.
right?
Yeah.
I second.
Okay. Vote, Judith,
Yes,
Edsel,
Yeah.
Rena,
Yes.
Berenger,
Yes.
Smith, yes. Okay, so we can begin,
Yes,
then we will start with the check register.
well,
No, we should start with,
we should start with approval of the minutes from
Oh, okay.
14 January.
I thought we were gonna go in A and B. Okay, that's fine. Approval of the minutes from 14 January. Okay, dokey. Okay,
I have a few things I'd like to make corrections on. So, number one says Hetzel late, I wasn't late. So I want that taken off. Then halfway down to, said there would be a lawsuit for breaking and entering, that wasn't said either. So that needs to come off. Um. Oh, and then the treasurer, report, says treasurer passed out a sheet with bank balances, not the treasurer report. I want that
Well,
removed.
that is correct, that is what you did.
No,
yes,
Yes, it is.
I will,
You don't even, have you looked at what the actual treasurer's report looks like? It's in, it's,
I have,
what you gave us
and
was not true.
as long as it lists all our bank account stuff, that is a treasurer's report. All it is on QuickBooks instead of, we don't have, instead of, it's just a, I mean, it doesn't say anywhere. I'm more than happy to change the way I did it, but you need to spell it out how you want it.
If you go back and look at the old ones, which I gave Brad, right there's the treasurer report there. And if you go into BSNA, I looked at BSNA and there is a spot that says treasurer report. There's all kinds of reports you can print up from there.
Okay,
You
well,
just have to take the time to play around in it, because I have to do that
Yeah.
still for things. So that wasn't a treasurer report, that was a bank balance report.
no, that wasn't treasurer's report because I gave you guys all the info you needed to see what is on the treasurer report. It doesn't have to have, a million things on it, as long as it gives you the starting balance and the ending balance and the expenditures and the revenues. And it had all that. So, again, I'm willing to change it. I just need to know how you want it done, but that is a true treasurer's report. It doesn't say anywhere that it has to be done a certain way. You just need to see the beginning and the ending.
So you're
And then
saying that you don't feel that the board needs to see, in fact, Phoebe, when she did it, would actually put it out there for the residents to look at. All the money that came in, the money that went out, what the expenditures were actually worth.
that's in there. Angie, that was on
Not
there.
spelled out, it's
Yes,
just,
it was.
all
It
right.
said,
All right,
it said
okay.
starting balance.
We're
it listed all the things.
not gonna get anywhere. It's pointless. Maybe we can look at it together, one day when you come in. And I can kind of show you what Brad's like.
I mean, what was I guess what was missing on it then?
I don't have one. in
all
front of me.
this. What's missing on there is the account categories for each department, the assets, like the Parks and Recreation, the beginning balance, how much we have left. It's not the budget. This is a treasure report of the budget. Each month, money is taken out of these accounts. And then the treasurer is supposed to put the new balance into this column here on all these things, and it shows a percentage of the budget used right here. So that is what I need to do my budget. I don't have that. We haven't had one since November. So I don't even know what we have in the budget as far as what's left or anything. So I can't even do the budget.
That actually is a budget report. That's not.
It's a treasury report.
Not though.
All right, so what else you want to do with the minutes here?
On number 4, on B. Where are the corrections?
Well, if you read this paper, which I put in the packet, right, I got so many papers. This one right here, which I highlighted. It says, as per the 2020 edition of the Authorities and Responsibility book, the Little Red Book, correcting minutes, MCL 15.269 states, the public body shall make any corrections in the minutes at the next meeting, after the meeting to which the minutes refer. This is the only time that the minutes can be corrected. So if you miss correcting December's minutes in the January meeting, you do not have another opportunity to do so. We never voted on the corrections because Kim was going to show us a video. And then in all the hoopla, we all forgot about it. And I called the MTA before I did this because I didn't know what to do. And this is what they sent me.
I made the corrections in the January
We
meeting.
did, and we did not vote on.
She's saying we never got to the point. of voting
Never
on it.
got voted
And
on.
there's other things that are supposed to.
We
do.
never.
So it doesn't get
And
changed.
then everything kind of broke loose, we got on track.
So because there was no motion, I can't change it. I had it written down what you said, Stan, but he said I couldn't do it.
Well, I made the correction last month for
You
the
made
December meeting.
correction, Stan, we did not vote on it. And because we did not vote on it, I cannot change it. We did not say I make a motion to approve the minutes as amended. We didn't vote. Because we were waiting for Kim to show us that video and then we all forgot. It wasn't intentional, it just, so many other things happened. So they have to stay like this.
So you're taking one thing off there is what you're doing?
And we're taking off D.
Wait, in the first number 2, what are you taking off?
Number 2, under where, he said minutes said deputy treasurer could work. And then it said there would be a lawsuit for breaking and entering. That needs to come off. That was not said.
Okay, what else were you talking about then?
Where it says I did not pass out a treasurer's report, because I did.
No, I don't agree with that one myself. What else? Dan, you got anything?
Oh, where are the minutes for the closed session that we went?
Well, they're not in there because they're a closed session.
Well, I understand that, but
They're
where,
here.
but
I'm
where are
gonna
they?
have, they're right here. I'm gonna have you read them. We've suggested everybody read them. They are not for public record. I have to, once we look at them, if we approve them, I have to seal them up
I know.
for you.
I'd like to add something. That a edited version of the
For-
deputy, B4B. Edited version of the deputy's work schedule was played.
A what?
An edited version. There was no vote on what you played. We do have the real one today. You will hear it. It's on the agenda. We just approved it.
Deputies, some of the deputies.
Yeah, the deputies,
Say that again, edited version of,
the deputy's work schedule,
It's not my work.
the deputy's work schedule till March 31st or whatever it was that was brought up.
Are you referring to the motion that was resolved by the board with regard to authorization for the use of the deputy treasurer?
Right,
Yeah.
till the end of the year.
Is that,
I think that's what.
Till the end of the year, yeah.
we should be that specific.
say that again, then I wrote down edited version of deputy's work schedule display.
Okay,
That's,
Played that.
but I don't think it's, I would say. What he's trying to say, if there's an edited version of the discussion with respect to the use of the deputy.
Well,
yeah,
there wasn't an edit.
You're saying edited, I want
It
the
wasn't-
unedited.
It wasn't
No, no.
edited, it just wasn't played all the way through.
So a portion then, does that work?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to clarify what he's saying.
All right, you can say a portion.
I don't know what to write, I keep changing what I'm writing, so I want somebody to tell me exactly what you want me to.
So are you trying to say that with respect that Kim only played a portion of a video that represented the discussion on the use of the deputy at that meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's what we're trying to say.
That's all I really have. Excuse me. Okay.
So we need a motion to approve the meeting minutes as amended.
I put for the motion to approve January 14th meeting minutes as amended.
I second. We can take a vote. Dan,
No,
Kim,
No.
Angie.
Yeah.
Jared,
Yes.
Brad, yes. Okay, can we move on?
No. I need you to read these and then pass them on because we have to vote on these closed session minutes, but they can't be for public.
But we shouldn't have had a closed session in the first place.
It doesn't matter, we did, you have to read the minutes.
Not sure that's how it works.
What are you talking about?
I want her to read the.
If you're
minutes.
not sure, I'm here to clarify. So what is your problem?
The problem is that you don't have a closed session meeting unless you're in litigation.
I would say two
And
things.
it
One,
wasn't in litigation.
what section of the MCL are you referring to? I have the open meetings handbook right here, which refers to the MCL section that allows for it when there's discussion of a meeting, or I'm sorry, a written legal memorandum. You were presented with a written legal memorandum that is under MCL, and you can write it down so you can do your own research. Okay?
I have
MC
to write it down because I did look it up already.
Well, then you should know better then, because if you would have looked at subsection H, not the one that dealing with litigation, but subsection H, you would realize that it would have to deal with a written legal opinion that was written. And that was what the closed session is for. You don't have to agree to it. The board decided, including your vote, to go into a closed session. You're required right now to read the meeting minutes and agree or disagree with them. That's really your only option right here at this juncture.
I understand what the option is. I'm just saying. we
So
should-
Well,
while
but
you're
hold on.
arguing,
I think that we've all discerned with comments from the room that we're trying to observe some decorum and Robert's Rules of Orders to the best of our ability here. These interjections of opinions are
It's not an
extraneous to
opinion.
what's going on here.
It's The open meeting act.
All right, do you want me to
So-
start with Jared because
What's it?
but these are the minutes from the closed session, but we can't have them held in about.
Right,
So they need to read them and see what they say and then.
did you give us a
No,
copy?
Just only one copy.
One copy.
He said one
Oh,
copy.
Because then the copy will go into an envelope and be sealed according to
Okay.
the open meeting section.
Okay, Yep. Okay, so what, we make a motion to approve
We have to
that?
make a motion to
Anybody?
I make a motion to approve minutes from the closed session. With the 14th of January.
14th, yes. Seconds?
I'll support.
Okay, vote. Stan,
No,
Kim,
No,
Jared,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Brad, yes. Okay, so we got the minutes. Are we moving to the check register now?
We're doing routine business, I would say, yeah.
Okay, check register, then that's Angie's, right?
So this is, just a little heads up, I wrote 2 checks to electing source for the maintenance agreement for the tabulators. And then after I already printed them and all that, we now got revised invoices, which are a little less on each invoice, but they said they'll just send us a refund. That's the only thing.
Okay, I have a question. What is an EFTPS? It's the third one down.
Oh, EFTPS is the federal payroll taxes.
Um, and then the last one, membership weare.
That is the website. I had to write a check because the credit card got turned down.
Well, it's on the credit card, though. We have 3
From the month
invoices.
before.
We have 3 invoices for it.
From the month before.
So we have,
It's
so
a
all
monthly
3
fee.
of those
It's a
are,
monthly fee.
okay. But that's what I'm asking. So all 3, so we
There's only-
paid what, December, January?
This one here
and
that
February?
this one here that I wrote the check for is for the February.
Right.
The one that was on the, cause there's only one of those on this one.
Yeah, but in the packet, there's 3 of them.
Because one was on the credit card. one was-
Right. One was on the credit card.
No, the one that he gave you probably was showing the credit card got turned down. Cause that's who we tried to pay. And then one copy was for the, well, if there's, and if there is,
There's one
I
right
could have,
here.
I could have asked, let me see. Okay, that's probably,
The credit card.
yeah, that's the one that said it got.
Doesn't show that one. And then here's another one
Yeah,
that
this is the one I
being
want to
paid by
check.
check. Oh, that one's credit card.
No, it says, it paying by check, please pay this, it doesn't say. It. This one here, if it was on the credit card. Then that was for the month before, because this one says the date of issue, let me see the other one. Yeah, So this one was, if you look, this is the December invoice. This
Right.
one is the February invoice.
Where's the
So
January invoice?
this one says it was due on December third. This one says it was due on February 7th. Write a check. Mike tried to pay it with the credit card because we wanted to get it paid and it got turned down. So this one didn't get paid. I wrote another check, which is this very last check, 5152, would be the very last check.
Look at the, what's it called? One.
That's the credit card.
Oh, okay.
Just remember, there's three, December, January,
I
February.
had stuff.
I know, but we don't really have.
Well, probably because I paid the other one in the summer.
No, you'd have to have it printed out.
This one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that one was probably paid with the January check. If you go back there, it's probably in there. But there's only one on here. We got charged one and it's. This is just a receipt. This isn't just the invoice. So, see, that's an invoice, that's a receipt. Either that's why it's treated invoice.
Okay.
Those are yours.
What about the all need?
That was for the W-2 and 1099.
I think it's all.
I don't know what this is.
I think that's all of them,
Oh,
yeah.
this is the budget.
No. This is, thought that was a check there, but.
So for the accounting and the W-2s and the 1099. For who?
For the whole town, for every employee.
Why? You always done it before.
There's a whole new process of doing it, and Rod and Phoebe's father used to do a trust for free. He's not doing a trust for free anymore.
The building department computer service.
That's a BSNA charge that we give. It's the invoice, and then you'll see it.
Yeah, I
It's
did see it.
for the, for getting the program, the yearly maintenance on the program.
Just the maintenance or
We're doing
or like their program?
probably the program to upkeep for the, how you can call and ask them questions and things. Or you'll get one too, that's for the treasurer and for the assessor. There's one that I get, that's like half of it is for your system and half of it's for the assessing system. That we haven't gotten it though yet.
Okay, and then we are missing on the check register, the check for the deputy for her hours for
I know,
December
that
and
we-
January.
We, January, that's another story, but, I agree. We need to pay the deputy treasurer. We need to.
Okay, so, where are we at with this?
I got a question on check number 5146, Dyke Security. For $255.
That was when we had to have them come out and get the information that was spoiled by Mr. Hetzel.
Yes, that's right here. That's what it cost for them to come out and to,
Why did you have to have them come out?
because they had to show me how to do it.
We
And he
never
did
had
it.
to extract anything before, and Bruce did the same thing too. He had to call them out before when he wanted information put on the flash drive.
Yeah, but he consult them over the phone and do it himself.
No, he did not. They came out.
Couldn't do it. It
It was a
wouldn't
service
work. There
phone.
was some glitch in the computer thing that it wouldn't do it. So they had to come out and actually get to the unit itself and correct it. So yes, that
And they
did cost
They
$255
came,
for that FOIA flash
They
drive.
came out for Bruce once and they were here and they charged a service call and then they still couldn't get what Bruce needed for one.
But I do know how to do it now.
Okay. We gotta talk about these lawyer bills.
I'm
Well,
sorry
let's
about
go
that.
down the list here. Are we done with the check register?
No,
No, that.
No,
these are part of the check register.
Oh, okay, so,
We got astronomical charges here. My first thing is $2,065 to attend the election day operations.
That was Bruce West.
No, it wasn't. Don't sit here and throw Bruce under the bus.
shh, stay calm, Stan, stay calm, stay calm.
Who approved Mr. Kustra to be here on election day?
Bruce,
I don't know, I
Bruce
wasn't
said
here.
he didn't. That, and you were heard by a few of the people in, around saying that you were gonna donate your time because it was your, township and you just wanted to make sure everything was going smoothly.
trust me, I donate a lot of my time to the township,
I don't know.
because if I charged everything with all the mess that's going on in this board, between the FOIAs and the police calls and everything else, it would be in the tens
Well-
of thousands of dollars,
They
so,
already did.
This amount was not anything in the minutes where, prior to the election, November election, you can go back how many meetings, and there is nothing in the minutes where we approved, it had to be a board decision over $500. This amount here is ridiculous.
what was approved, and I'll just say this, was that check at the last meeting. And so if we're reviewing stuff that's already been approved, I don't really understand.
There was none of your lawyer bills on last month.
Yes, there was, sure there was.
No, we didn't have any.
No,
Check it.
no.
But the thing is. You said that we have to go over $500 to be approved. I
Yeah.
agree.
Well, yeah, let's put that on record too.
But- Yeah, we have.
Anything over
I'd say
500
we
has
take
to be approved
zero.
by the board.
I'd say we
Anything,
take it to zero. Anything that.
Well,
was
we're,
spent has to be-
we're missing the point here. We're
Okay.
still talking about this election fee.
Right,
So person apparently has said they approved is no longer on the board. So we don't have there's no paperwork stating it.
right,
Right. And you guys saying he said no, really is meaningless.
I didn't, this was before.
it's water under the
Administration.
bridge, in my opinion.
Well,
It's been done.
I
it's
think
over
you,
with.
I think you authorized him to come here, Angie, because after the
Don't
price,
accuse her now, Stan, you can't do that.
You can think what you want, keep it in your brain, because you are not
Right.
making false accusations like you. keep
Okay,
trying to do.
okay,
I
just
appreciate
Let's
it.
stay settled down here now.
Okay, so that one.
We
there
don't
would
know
be
exactly what
past
happened with that,
administration,
and
but
let's let it go from there.
that one there's past administration.
Anything else on that one?
well, a lot of these charges, right up till the transition. Ridiculous, $795 to confer with supervisor regarding transition and property matters. He talked to you for 15 minutes and you're charging us almost $800.
Were you on the clock with me? I talked to him at length, and I had to go pick up the computer and everything from the gas station. His place of business, because he refused to come for the transition to give Brad the computer and everything else.
And wasn't there other people here?
There were other issues that were going on. There was
we
a lot
talked
more than that, and there's some things that are subject to attorney-client privilege that I cannot discuss here. And so if you want more details, then they can be done in the appropriate closed session.
what about the attend the PA 233 training that somebody went to?
That was an authorization by the board on the meeting minutes to attend that training. The board attended that training in
What month?
November.
That's past administration.
That was an October meeting minute authorization and to attend that training, which
Yeah.
is important training, by the way, when it comes to
Yeah,
the,
but you didn't go to it.
my associate
Right.
at a cheaper rate than my own. So what's the problem?
Well, I feel like if we are gonna pay for your schooling, you're a contracted worker, we shouldn't have to pay for your schooling.
Excuse me, I'm not a contracted worker in the sense of
That wasn't
schooling.
schooling,
That was a
was-
seminar that dealt with business
It
of
was-
the,
It's-
first of all,
it's
that was,
training, it says training on
that was a decision that was made in October by the
Okay.
previous board.
Didn't know
and it
that,
was not
that's why I'm
training.
asking. It says training on here, 10 PA 233 training. What it says?
So
I
Okay.
read through the previous month's minutes. And I did not see anything in your motion to allow the attorney to go to training for what, wind and solar?
It
Yeah,
was a wind
that-
and solar.
Yeah.
And it was training on how to deal with the state's encroachment on township rights.
That was the one you called me, Kim, and said you weren't gonna go because you think it doesn't have anything to do with you, and I had paid for you already. So I just wouldn't pay. When you're.
So we should not be paying for people's training?
No,
Okay, I want that noted and recorded. We should not be paying for any of our training.
Oh, we shouldn't be paying for the attorney's training.
That's not what I said.
That
We
wasn't
should
a
not be
training, that
paying
was-
for
that
anyone's
was,
training.
That was a,
It says
You said
training, but
no.
it seems like it was a class
It
on
was the
solar.
same
I know, I
It-
went,
it
I
was-
was there.
Right.
I took that class before I
To get
became
familiar with
supervisor,
what's
yes,
going on. It says.
the one in Goodall's,
yes.
that's not the one that you went to, is it?
yes, it was.
That is the one that my associate went to.
That's the one they're speaking of.
There would be no sense. That was for the planning commission and the ZBA members.
No, it was about wind and solar.
Yeah, and the laws and what they
And
were
the state
gonna
laws
do.
encroaching on the township.
Yeah, it was involved, quite, you know. Informative, but
I look
basically,
at this whole package. We got $11,000 in outstanding attorney bills and we're only 2.5 months into the new board. This is ridiculous.
Some of these fees,
We're getting ripped off.
but some of these fees are from.
Another thing is, I
Tax.
found out your credentials, you're not even a municipal attorney.
Yes, I am. What does that mean, a municipal attorney?
Well, we looked up it on your Kuster and Bloom, and there's nothing under it
I
that
do
says,
government law and elections. I do litigation, property. What do you mean? I don't.
it's not in your credentials, and that,
What are you talking about? Cause I don't use the word municipal on a website.
right,
I mean, I can change it right now if you want, if that's gonna make anything feel better. Cause I think I've been practicing law for over a decade. All right, I've done elections and veterans law, I've done government law, I've done Canadian and cross-border law. I've done a lot of everything here. I do know how to read an MCL, unlike some people on this board. I can advise on these things, right? And the problem is that you guys are having me under fire for what? I presented at the meeting in August, my curriculum vitae. And my curriculum vitae included all of these things. This on a website is only a synopsis of the things that I did and things that I do. So
disagree.
and that was approved unanimously by the board at the
It
time.
was.
So and I'll speak to the bills again. We went through some tumultuous times from the time that I came on with dealing with things like the winery, the old administration.
You
the
shouldn't have
incoming
been
new
even dealing
administration.
with the winery,
Why not?
huh?
Why not?
Because that's what we have that liability insurance through
Do
MMRNA.
you know that the liability insurance might not cover that?
Why?
Because it might not be covered under their liability insurance, under the township's liability insurance.
it's under review right
It's in their
now.
hands now.
It's in their hands now. But the issue of whether or not there's a threat of liability is of course part of the township attorney's job.
Everything should be kicked to them, and if they say you won't handle it, then you can pursue it. After the board action.
But this has been an ongoing issue for how many years? Now that they are looking at it, you can't say retroactively, you shouldn't have done it, because in all this time, he's had to address it. It isn't like all of a sudden he said, oh, it's going to the insurance, let me do it too. If he stopped the minute the insurance said they would review it.
Well, how come it wasn't, how come you didn't know, Brad? To understand our policy in the first place, why did you give it to Mr. Kuster?
It was already in my hands before that, though.
Yeah.
It
This
was,
was going before I ever
and
got
it
elected.
preceded me by many years.
Yeah.
There's issues with there's letters in
But
there.
under the prior board, we didn't get a demand letter until you came into office.
There were plenty of demand letters in that thing. There were a few.
From the
From
previous
the
board.
winery for action. There
So
were-
I'll tell you this though, Stan, since I do know this now, we do have Tracy's stuff going to them. And anything else, other issues that we have ongoing, we are submitting all that information to them. So I'm doing what you, I guess, expected of me before I even knew what was going on here. It's in the works right now. It's in the process of being handled, all of it. So if that puts any rest to you,
Well,
I don't know what else to tell you.
if we got
In their
another,
hands.
okay, I'll talk about the other issue. It's not a check ledger issue. But, I'm not happy with this. This is ridiculous. The hourly rate of,
Solve these ongoing issues, there won't be all these.
I'd like to make a motion. I want to make a motion that we get rid of Cooster on Bloom, on the fact that he always has something negative to say about me, does not represent me like he does the whole board, like your comment you just made. And so I'm making a motion that we let him go as of right now.
I will support that motion.
All right, we'll have a vote. How do you vote, Stan?
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Jared,
No.
No,
Brad, no, Angie,
no.
we got too
okay,
much Stuff going on, guys.
let's move
We
on.
got,
But I have a question, I do have a question.
Yeah.
When you were hired, was the previous board, was your rates were probably, they knew all this?
This was all presented.
I guess,
They
is
knew
there,
it,
is there room for adjustment of your rates?
There,
Can
negotiation.
we, because we got, I'm just not saying we're saddled with you, but we came aboard and you were already
I
here
understand.
with your contract.
If we want to have a discussion about that, I'm always open to having a discussion.
Okay,
I
I
was
think $600
planning on that,
meeting
but
is
we did
ridiculous.
talk a little bit about
Well,
that the other
We
day.
did.
okay, I just wanted to
So
make sure.
they
because
don't
like I
know
said,
what's been
they approved
discussed.
it, The old administration approved it.
And we are working on that.
I'd like to address, see what we could do, because it's all of our money. And we just want to see, your money too.
I live here, it's my money.
Yeah, me too, so I just like to see if we could adjust, see if we could come to something.
Okay, but we can't really do
No,
anything
no,
now.
I'm just said, I just wanted to
Right,
put it out. there,
right,
Okay.
okay.
What about, the $600 a meeting though? I don't feel like we need to have
We
him
just said
at
we're-
every
we
meeting.
just said
Yeah, we're gonna
going to
talk-
address
We're gonna
this.
address this fees.
Yeah,
later,
so we
but
can
it's-
move on. So we did approval of minutes and check register. Is that where we're at now?
Nothing is still on here.
Two things? Two things done?
Have to vote.
On what? I thought we just,
You didn't vote?
oh, the check register. Okay, I make a motion to approve the check register.
Okay, checks 5104 to 5152. And 1, 2, 4 electronic. These are 139 through 142, totaling $65,486.21. That's your motion, I'll support it.
Okay, then let's take a vote. Stan,
no,
Kim, Jared,
Yes,
Angie,
Yes.
Brad, yes. Okay, so we are going to the assessing department. He's got everything in order. All PTA and deeds are up to date. Work continues on sketching properties. All splits are up to date. Working on new values for 2025.
Make a motion to file the assessing department.
What's that?
Make a motion to file the assessing department. update
report,
Report.
I will second.
You done with it? Does that file mean to be done?
That means we just,
Speaking.
we just accept that.
Okay, Then let's take the vote since we have the second. Stan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Kim, how do you vote?
Yeah.
Jared, how do you vote?
Yes.
Angie, how do you vote? And Brad, I vote yes. Okay, so, we're gonna go down to the treasurer attempt to remove clerk from bank account and authorize deputy to be placed on account. Okay, so Angie, you have material for that.
This is back and forth between Kim and one of the banks, and then she wrote on here. Based on the election results, it's my understanding you have requested an update to current signers on the township's accounts. At Flagstar, previously, we had the treasurer and the clerk as signers. You are currently requesting to update signers to you as treasurer and your deputy treasurer, removing the clerk as authorized. I did call and it says here, we would have to sign new you'd have to use master cards signed by new signers, confirmed by you and the clerk, saying that you would take me off. We can't take me off. It has to be one person from the clerk's office, one person from the treasurer's. It's checks and balances. So that
Not on CD.
I called, and yes, I called the MTA, yes, checks and balances. I'm never gonna do anything because you're the authority with that. You're doing the CDs, you're doing all the banking stuff. But you have to have a second signer. And
I understand that. That's the whole point of having a deputy. You have a second signer. Thing that you're not understanding is, I am responsible for all the CDs. I am responsible
I know that.
for the way that we, use them, where we spend all the money. Everything is, up to me. The only thing that you have to be on, which I agree with, is the check register or the checking account. So
I would like to speak on behalf of the people. We want a check and a balance with anything that has.
Thank you.
So-
Each department.
So that's what I was gonna say. I understand what you're saying, Tim, that your responsibility, and like Angie just stated, nothing can happen without you. So as long as your signature's on it, you've pretty much approved it, and she's just signed it too. I mean, if she's not signed it, it's not going without you.
Right.
Am I understanding that? So if you signed it,
Well,
then
I actually didn't try and take her off of it. I was just trying to add the deputy to it, and you can only have 2 people. It wasn't like I said, hey, let's take Angie off.
Can you reread that email?
I understand, but I'm just saying.
yeah, and if that's the case, then she misunderstood you, or she just assumed that that's what we wanted. I'm not comfortable with having only the treasurer's department. It's a treasurer and the deputy being on.
No, it's not, no, it's still the same department. that-
Okay, kind of, please keep some order here. Let's,
But I understand, Kim, it's, like I said, you're still the authority. And only anything Angie said you should do is just basically approving what you already had authorized.
You're gonna be the one that's going to be checking on the CDs and signing up for the new CDs.
That's
and
just-
But I mean, honestly, with MCL 41.76, here's what it says. Treasurer shall have custody of all township funds and pay out upon order of township board or as provided by law.
That's not saying that that means only you are part of the banking. Think about the logic of this. You should want me on there just
What,
because there's no chance of, if anything goes
That's,
haywire, they're gonna say, well. it was
I want you on the checking accounts. I'm not saying that. I just wanted to add my deputy to the CDs. So if I am unavailable, she is available.
Well,
You can only have 2 names on
Okay,
it,
but
so.
apparently it doesn't matter because if they were asked to sign these checks or sign these signature cards, and when you didn't, they automatically removed the CD. So if something were to happen and you weren't available to renew it, they're gonna automatically renew it. Cause I did talk to the lady at the
I know,
bank. I
I
said, is that
talked to her.
how it works? And she said, yeah, if you don't come in and say, hey, yeah, do this, you just automatically renew it. So it's
Right,
not,
and I did tell her that we were gonna renew it, because we got 4.25% interest on it.
but that's another
so-
thing. We always brought to the board. And Stan, you said that last month. We always brought it to the board. These are the rates, these are the lengths of time.
Right, but at the last board meeting, we didn't discuss it, and we had to have a
Well,
decision made, that's why
Well,
I went ahead
Stan
and
said-
made
yeah,
the
well,
decision.
Well, see, that's supposed to be a board decision, and Stan was the one who said you didn't have any documentation, he wanted you to bring it to the next meeting. I don't think any of us were aware of the fact that it was already expiring. So,
Right.
we should have made a decision.
Right, well, that's why I made the decision, was because it
But in
had
the
to be made,
future-
so.
In the future, you'll bring it to the board,
Yeah,
right?
I have one here today.
Okay, so. So okay, that problem solved, I feel like you agree, we're gonna keep you and me on the
Okay, yep.
lease. And now can we make a motion to put both of the deputies, deputy treasurer, deputy clerk, onto the first state check? That's it, first state check.
I'll second it,
Wonderful.
and we'll have a
We
vote.
have to have them on the other ones too.
No, not on the tax.
Well, not, so you're saying only you can sign the tax check? Then
That's
your deputy-
exactly what I'm
And
saying.
then the deputy, your deputy cannot.
I don't think it has, I'm not positive the tax,
Have you sent out any tax checks yet?
but the tax, check has to be a double, but I know that I am the only one, only my name should be on that account.
Well, but so that's what I'm asking. So only you, even your deputy can't be on there.
No, the deputy can be on there because she is me. So, she is me, except when I'm not, she can't vote, she is.
Well, I get that. I know what a deputy does. But there is a trusted agency account too.
Yes.
So we
there's
have to have them
agency.
on that too.
You want them on that, that's fine.
It's just like, because if you go on vacation and I have a bond that needs to be refunded, your deputy can sign that check to mail that bond money back.
Okay.
So I'm gonna revise that and make a motion to add the deputy treasurer and clerk, deputy clerk, to first state pool checking, is that how you want it?
Fine.
Pool checking. And the trust and agency.
So that's two accounts.
Correct. All right, my motion is, I'm gonna read it back to you. Motion to add the deputy treasurer and the deputy clerk to the first state pool checking and the trust and agency of checking accounts.
Any seconds?
Second,
All right, we'll have a vote then. Stan,
Yes,
Kim,
yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes,
Brad, yes. Okay, we skipped over the signing of checks and to pay the bills. So can we
No,
look at that a little bit?
Kim says she signed
I
and sent
already-
them.
Sign them.
Can
they're
we-
all out.
what do you need now?
I need all the documentation that was attached to those checks. I need
I
that all
have
back.
all that in my office for you.
Can we get that
Yeah, absolutely.
today?
Sure.
And then the checks that we approved today. Are you gonna sign those today or are you gonna come in tomorrow morning?
I'm gonna come in tomorrow. I'm not gonna stay tonight and do it.
Okay, are you going to come in the morning? Cause we're supposed to get a bad storm in the afternoon.
Yeah, probably.
And we may have, did you wanna go to the banks tomorrow or do you wanna wait and do that next week? I have a funeral Thursday. I can't do that.
I did wanna go to the banks because. Yeah, I do wanna go.
Well,
to the
then how
banks.
early can you be here? We can sign the checks and we can go to the banks and then I can come back and work on the other stuff.
Okay.
Okay,
Is my December check going to be in there?
So yours is coming up. Can I ask you a question? You said you signed all those checks?
Yeah, under duress, but I did.
And did you mail all those checks?
Yes. Except for Angie's.
And when did you do that?
Last week. So,
And
got
I have called the county, St. Clair County building, and they have not received their money yet. What day of the week did you mail that stuff?
at the beginning of the week.
So it's
they
been
still
over a
haven't-
week to get to the St. Clair County building?
Well, I mean, today's only Tuesday, but
Beginning of the week
So
is
you
Monday.
mailed it Yesterday is what you're saying?
no, last week.
Well, it's mailed, I mean,
It's
no,
done.
it's a mail, so we just have to wait and see, it's mailed. Put it in the mail Monday, it's in the mail Monday.
You wanna say something?
Because yours don't have an address on it.
Yeah,
Right,
So
that,
I'm wasting.
but you're the only ones I have.
Okay,
so.
well, I'm just asking because all the bills are late. We have accrued late fees on our electric bill, our cable bill, or every bill we got, we have accrued late fees. And according to the MCL, you are responsible for those late fees.
No,
Yes, but we'll get to that
The-
later.
the reason everything was sent out late is because we are not working on a balanced budget. And I don't know if you don't understand how that works or what, but it has to be a balanced budget. You cannot write a check on an account that doesn't have money in it.
Right.
So.
So
that
where
the-
is your treasury report to show us what you don't have money in? That's what I wanna know.
It's not the treasurer report, it's the budget
The
report.
treasurer moves the money around from place to place on the computer.
No, the
You
treasurer
take the
doesn't.
tax money and you put the tax money into the bank and then you move it to the certain accounts all these other monies are taken out of. So this account gets certain 5 things taken out of it. This account gets 5 things taken, this account, it's like a networking. So where is the paperwork in the figures to show us what you got?
Brad?
Where can you prove that we are over budget? That's what I
I
wanna
can
know.
show you right here, I have all of them,
Well, I
right
talked-
here.
I talked to the MTA today.
You wanna see them all? They're right here. I can show you how many accounts that we are over in. Starting here, 1,
I don't,
2, 3, 4, 5,
well, that don't mean nothing.
today,
It's-
Kim,
6.
And she said, because I asked her.
7.
Okay, we get your point.
Well, I don't think you do that.
No,
So I
I
talked to
don't.
the MTA today and asked about how that all worked. And she said, if you, I use the election as an example, say I have $10,000 in the election account. I budgeted 7,000 for salaries and 1,000 for computers and then the rest added up. So instead of spending 1,000 on computers, say I spent 2,000 on computers, but I only spent 5 on salaries. I'm still within that umbrella of elections. I'm still within that budget. Said you still have the ability to sign the checks and you then can go in and move it from salaries down into computers. on
right,
your own.
that's the budget adjustment.
But once we approve the
But-
checks, we're still under budget because I told her, when I type up a check and I go to save it, a screen will come up and say, hey, you're over budget in this department. And the only one that has happened to me is in roads and bridges because we spent
Mm.
an astronomical amount on roads and bridges this past year. Probably close to $400,000 on roads and
Mhm.
bridges.
Then why are we still writing checks for roads and bridges?
Because we
To
have
St. Clair
to,
County.
and that's why you're supposed to do the budget adjustment.
I
We have-
don't do budget adjustment, so
We
that is
voted-
not my job.
It's
Okay.
Brad's statutory duty.
Okay,
I don't go through and what you guys are talking about is a budget. It's not, I
It's a-
deposit
it's a-
the funds
It's a
and then I
budget,
put the funds out to the county. I don't deposit those funds right now into our bank accounts. That's not how it works.
don't deposit what funds.
Say
If
that.
I may. Kim is correct on most things when it comes to this, in the sense of this. Budgets and adjustments are generally done, talked to the, also confirmed with the MTA attorney. Budget adjustments are generally done by the supervisor and clerk. That's the budgeting role is in that, the accounting role is the clerk's job. The funding, excuse me?
That hurts to say, don't it?
Doesn't hurt anything for me. I follow the law. So. What, on the flip side is that when the board approves the expenditure, so long as there's money in the account, those checks can be written or signed and issued, and then it's incumbent on somebody else to go and make the budget adjustment.
Correct.
So if, now, one isn't required for the other two to do, and according to, we're throwing around MCLs. We've thrown around your MCL, like this one here, that was just quoted, 4176, it says. Treasurer shall have custody of all township funds and pay out upon order of the township board. So, or as provided by law. So if the township is saying, for easy numbers, there's $50,000 in checks, we have $100,000 in this bank account. In the general pool. Sign the checks at the board meeting, or, after we approve the checks, they can be signed now. Then. Two things should happen. The check should be signed and sent out. And then the budget should also be adjusted if there's necessary. That's why there's a budget report and a decision on, we've had these before in other meetings where they get moved around, right? Let's pull from the rainy day fund to here to fund these checks. But nobody has to wait for that budget adjustment in the books to happen in order to sign the checks.
Yes, it does.
That is not what the MTA attorney has. That is not what it says here. As long as there's money in the general pool,
Okay.
the adjusting on the ledger itself does not have to happen prior to, because then there's gonna be money in different places again, right? It's just making sure for auditing purposes that everything is rectified, the checkbook balances,
Okay.
right? But the idea of issuing the checks, we shouldn't be waiting for this kind of cat and mouse game of one doing, like, who's gonna do the job first, right? In this case, under this scenario, when the township board orders the checks to be appropriated accordingly, they can be signed without any liability.
Not how I read it, but okay.
But that's what I've read, and that's also what I've confirmed with the attorney from the MTA. That the township board, once they say that you can sign them. And yes, could there be an issue with a budget adjustment later? Yes, and the board can also deal with that too, in order that the adjustment happen by the people that are responsible for it. But that's where, that would come into the next meeting where, Stan would say, hey, listen, why is this line item not adjusted? Right? So that's what I'm saying, like, the township business, the way it's set up that way, so the township business can continue despite an accounting, missing the accounting over the books.
It still comes down to knowing the figures. I don't get in on BSNA because that is your job and Andy's job. You guys are in the BSNA and you guys know the figures and you have all the numbers, on the computer. I don't have that access. I don't deal with that stuff. This is a treasurer's job to bring up a report of what has been spent for that month and what is the total remaining. How much percentage that we used, what's the percentage left? That is your job to do that, to give to me so that I can work with the budget.
If we had that,
Not,
if
Brad,
we
that is
had that-
your job.
No, it's not.
the bu-
Yes, it is.
he can only read the estimate. He cannot manually do anything. He has no authority, and it's you and me. And the whole thing with the budget adjustment, we did make a motion, we did vote that Kim would do the budget adjustment.
Yes.
Because she said she wasn't going to. But that's not my thing, because
Well, I got a comment about that
Okay.
too, Adam. Go ahead.
because I brought that paper to you and showed you the breakdown of all the budgets, and we have like $98,000 in the general fund kind of thing. And I said, you could take the money from here and put it into roads and bridges. We have like 30,000 in cemeteries because we thought we were gonna put a column there, which we didn't. We could take 20 out of there if we needed to and make that budget adjustment into roads and
We've
bridges.
already
I
discussed it.
understand all that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we work on a balanced budget. You are supposed to make the move of the money before you write out the check.
I have to say that I talked to
Okay.
the
That's
MTA
not
also,
right.
and what they
That
told
is
me was
right.
exactly what they told Steve. He actually said you could be over budget, and if the board approved those, you still sorry.
And give with all due respect.
We shouldn't be authorizing it.
Well, and so the idea is that, that's why you have the check register, right? That's why at a meeting here, we anticipate that the checks are gonna be issued, right? So you have a check register that says, check 1 through 10 is gonna be issued for this amount here, and potentially where it could come from. And then you have the budget report that says, you know, we'll see, we're over budget on this, or we're under budget on that, we need to allocate funds. Where are those funds gonna, you know, to meet these checks, right? Where are those funds gonna come from? And then we say, oh, it's gonna come from the rainy day fund, again, just use that as an example. Right, so it comes from the rainy day fund. So you're making a motion to approve the movement of the budget. And you're making a separate motion to approve the checks. Right? If the person who's supposed to change the budget doesn't do it for a week, it doesn't stop the person signing the check from signing the checks immediately. Right? Because there's one that's more immediate necessity than others, right? Paying the bills and conducting the business of the township is more important than immediately adjusting the books. However, you need to be adjusting the books in a contemporaneous time, because that's what we're supposed to do under our own fiduciary, like, also. Right? It's just, one can't stall the other, right? It could be the opposite too.
So I have a question for you. Are you here to work for the people?
What kind of questions?
If you are, then can you be a team player and print this stuff up for me then? If it's my duty to do this, can you print up these forms, these paperwork every month so that we have them, I have them?
I just said.
It's
when
about
we
10
were
minutes?
Talking about when we were talking about the treasurer's report, I said, if you don't like my treasurer's report, I'm willing to do whatever one you want. You just have to spell out what you want on it.
This,
That's
I
it.
want this.
Okay,
She did say that.
okay, she said,
That's what I want.
you got,
That's
basically.
what I need. I need it. I want to help the people. I want to work for the people. I need this information.
So we need everyone to work together, because now we're at the point where
Well,
you need her help to get the numbers.
Yes,
She needs help, to see what treasury reports needed for you to get your numbers. We gotta work together
that's what I want.
to get that done. Kim said she would work, whatever kind of treasury report you want, she'll get it, and then hopefully that'll give you the numbers that you need.
Can you put
get
that on the
budget.
minutes, please?
What do you
Well,
want?
you have to make
You have to make some kind of a motion.
or at least an agreement. right?
All right. A motion to have a treasury report that looks like Phoebe's, where I have what the previous month is balance.
Why don't we make a motion for the treasurer to make a treasurer's report comparable to the previous treasurer, so that we can have some kind of guideline on how to adjust budgets, something
Yeah,
to that effect.
that's all I need is the
I have a
numbers.
question, because I'm very familiar with, computer programs, and I heard Angie say that in the system that's existing, there is a menu where you click on treasure. Sounds like there's an existing report, you just go click on it, and it's there.
I
And
did
it's
look at
that
it the other day.
specific report,
Yeah, that was Dave.
you don't have to invent something new.
I'm
It-
not
it
trying
Until
to
such
invent
time,
anything.
and click the existing report button.
And
Thank
see,
you.
When, it's the thing that concerns me, Kim, is when you say there could be, or when I asked you yesterday, what is going to be our income from the property tax and what are admin fees, and you said, how would I know? I don't know how to find that out.
No, I would-
guess I would hope your answer would be, I don't know, but I'll find out, or.
What
you
I
know,
said to you was I didn't know because I was given a list that said property taxes. That's all it said. It said admin fees. That was it. Franchise fees.
But
So I inquired more. I don't know what that means.
Who did you ask? You didn't ask me.
I asked, Brad. That's what I asked.
No, you never asked
Yeah,
me.
I gave you back the paper.
You just wrote on the paper I had,
Exactly.
but
That's
I guess what I'm
So-
hoping here is, maybe if you could come in during the day when we're.
I
here.
am here during the day, Angie.
You
I
came in at
just because
1:30
I'm not
yesterday.
here because the reason I come in later, first of all, is because of all of this.
But we
You
can't,
can't get anything
we
done
can't
here.
communicate with you if you're not here to communicate with. If you were here and I could say, hey, Kim, why don't we go look in your computer at the treasurer?
Well, I was here last Wednesday and Thursday and you guys weren't.
So
So
I definitely will.
That's not the priority.
I was
Many
here.
townships that we've worked with, the county. people,
Anyway,
Their,
well,
their
we're-
people
the
were
audience isn't supposed to be
full-time
speaking.
jobs and
Yeah.
this.
Audience isn't supposed to be.
Well, when I've lived here a year and a half, and
And here we go with.
it's always been a Jerry Springer show is all the comments of the township pages and everything, and seeing you guys work, especially two of you are children, and you guys gotta go, cause this is freaking ridiculous. Holy shit.
Well, that was very nice thing to say, very nice.
Right now.
Well, Kim, I think I heard several people tell me that they could hear you from the other room. last
Okay,
month.
let's,
Why
we're done.
would
Hey, we're not going.
Because
Stop.
you-
This,
you said
we are
you're-
trying.
Hey, we're going down that track.
Yeah, we're doing, okay,
Let's.
okay, so where are we at with this anyway? Let's do that.
Or maybe Kim, you can come in like on a Monday. 'Cause Monday,
She's
everything's
not
good.
gonna, she's not gonna commit to anything
I would just.
definite. We've already been through this,
say, or Wednesday.
so
When I can make it in during the day, I will make it in during the day. I run another business. And I can't give you an exact day because I don't know day to day.
So put
Okay,
that on record too.
so-
She runs another business. I want that on record. I do. Put it on there. She doesn't have time to do this job. That's what I want on the record.
That's not what she said.
That.
She didn't say, she just said she has another business.
I can't always come in first thing in the morning during the day is what I said. I'm here most times in the evening till 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Female
So-
by herself in this building and
Yes,
alone?
exactly.
Wow. I thought we had a problem with that before too, but.
If you and I could have a day where we could go over this stuff instead, I don't wanna do everything with.
Wendy,
writing
I'm
notes.
willing to try. I just can't tell you, hey, I can be here every Wednesday at 9 AM. I can't say that to you. Can I tell you I can come in once a week while you're here? Absolutely. But I can't say, you know, I don't know how the week looks until the week comes. Okay? We are a construction business. It changes daily with the weather, with all that stuff. So I will be more than happy to come on one day a week, at least while you're here, and take care of that. But I just can't tell you every, Wednesday at 9 o'clock. It would just be at the beginning of the week, hey, I can come in this day, or this day.
And maybe it would be helpful too, we voted to have the township open on Wednesdays from 2 till 7. We made the motion and passed it in the December meeting,
Yes.
and you did not follow through on the motion.
What do you mean?
Because you came back to the January meeting, you and Brad, and said it's gonna be by appointment only. We passed, yes, Angie, because we have it in the minutes.
Stan, we did. And I asked you if you were gonna come on Wednesday from 2 to 7, and your response to me was, why would I? I have nothing to do with it. You're a board member also. Kim said she's not required to take certain hours when they try to do that. She's 100% right. We can't force her to come. She comes when she comes. But you're telling me now that I have to be here from 2 to 7. So do you see how,
Yeah.
Well, I guess-
convoluted your thinking is?
The reason that he says that though is because we
It works for
voted
you.
as a board that we be here for that.
So are you gonna be here?
Well, hold on.
Are you gonna be here?
Hold on a minute, because it's correct. As Kim stated, there are no set hours, and I don't believe there's any set hours for you either, right? Or is
I have
there?
no set hours.
So you don't have to come, but there is for, who would
Mike.
that be, Mike and
Justin.
whoever works for us,
And
right?
Justin.
So they need to start being here
Well,
at
here's
the time that we
here's
approve,
we advertise 9 to 2, 4 days a week.
right,
That's when people come to pay their taxes. If
right.
there's no one here to collect the taxes,
Right,
then how are they gonna do that?
but we also voted to have the building open from 2 to 9, I
7.
believe.
2 to 7.
2 to 7.
Have it.
So we gotta,
Who's gonna be here?
well, Mike,
Mike.
You're gonna make somebody,
yeah, but Mike is.
Mike's job is not to collect the
Yeah.
taxes.
But I'm not saying,
It's not-
that's down, hey, we'll have to work that down the road, but we did, the people that have to be here during the hours of business are the people who
Right,
work
you guys
here
voted on it.
on the time, which is Mike and whoever else collects a paycheck weekly. They have to be here. Now, the clerk and we don't, because it doesn't say anything. It'd be nice, but we don't. But there's people that have to be there so that as what's been going on, because I came, paid my taxes today. And Mike graciously took the stuff and did the things, he could continually do that from 2 to 7 on the night we provided. I mean,
He's not gonna stay.
well, that's the hours we voted on.
He's not-
Well, that's, I mean, that's what we voted on. I mean,
If we're
it's
staying
one
late,
night a week.
if we're staying late to collect the taxes only, then
No, that's not what it
No,
is. There's
it's
other
not
businesses.
then what are you talking?
There's people that work, if I work from 9 to 5. And I gotta come in, I need to get a building permit, or I gotta get something, or have it's just a question. I'm never gonna see my time. That gives me one night to come in here and ask my question.
Okay, so who do you want to stay then?
Well, that's who has to be here from 9 to 2.
Exactly.
Who has to be here from 9 to 2?
So
Your
you,
hourly
so
people,
you
Justin
wanna,
and
you
Mike.
wanna move the hourly people to the afternoon shift.
For one day, that's
One
what we
day a
voted
week,
on.
yeah.
'Cause that's what we
And if
voted
they
on.
don't wanna do that, what do you do then?
Then I guess they don't wanna work, we have to find someone who does.
And then what if somebody comes in at 9:30 and needs a plumbing permit and Justin is.
Well, they have all week.
Well,
And
then you
9:30
can-
This is just one day. Remember what we said? We were gonna give this a shot.
I
And then if it didn't work, we'd go by appointment only. We never even gave it a shot.
No, I know.
So we gotta give it a shot, and if we goes, and Mike comes back and says this, hey, I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Or it's something I can't do, or whoever's here, then say, hey, next meeting, let's just go by appointment only, one night a week, these hours. But we haven't even tried, we're fighting on something we never even tried, that we already voted on to do.
Okay,
And there won't be anybody
Yeah.
here, Angie, at 9:30 in the morning, so we don't have to worry about that.
You'll be over here because I. was
On
still
the
coming.
day, well,
And, you
on
know,
that.
if-
I just don't know how you wanna force those people to come
It's
in.
the hours of work,
in
if
the
where I
afternoon.
work, if my company all of a sudden decided that the hours changed, if I want a paycheck, I better go to work.
Well,
Those hours.
I
The problem
agree,
is-
but
hold on. Problem is that the board,
Anybody, they should all do it, just take a turn.
the problem is the board already said that the non-elected officials would be here with an adjustment of the hours. So if we don't want that, then that should be a agenda item, a motion, everything else. The legislation that happened in December was that there was going to be a late night on Wednesdays until 7 from 2 to 7. Similar to sign the check or move your office or everything else. All those things are legislation that comes out of this, off this table,
what we,
and it needs to be adhered to.
we never agreed on who's putting in those, that was the thing.
The hours, the hour.
It was the
You
hour,
voted on it.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
people who are here from 9 to 2, it's pushed back to 2 to 7.
2 to 7.
And I believe Mike took a vote of the township, and it was like 90-some of the
Yeah.
people that wanted, needed.
Oh, I know
want
that,
So
I remember.
we gotta give this a shot and make our adjustments after. We haven't got this out, so, you know, like starting next, what day was it, Wednesday? We should be open from 2 to 7.
Or tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow's short notice and people have families, so at least next week, starting 2 to 7. And ride that out and gather some information, and then come March, if Michael rotate or whoever's here. Hell, if I have to come in here, if it has to be, then I'll figure it out on days I'm off or if it's my schedule. But we gotta address what the people want, and that's what they wanted, that's what we voted on, we gotta do it.
So, does everybody here agree to come in on that day?
I'll do the best I can.
Do you?
I get out of work 5:30, I'll come in for that last hour.
We'll make it work, I told you I'll make it work.
Wednesday work for you.
And the people who are the hourlies, they gotta be, that's the hours of operation, they
I
gotta
don't
be here.
wanna be one that has to be here.
It's gonna be rough.
And then we adjust it the next meeting, we'll see, hey, this is a trial and error. It didn't work so well, so how about we, make an amendment to move it to appointment by end.
I don't know this, is there a policy or requirement that requires one of the, like an elected official to be here all the time, or?
Well,
Or
that's
can
what I-
the
there's no-
administrator just be here on his
I
own?
guess
What do you mean?
the elected officials can do whatever they want.
That's
But what I'm saying
yeah,
is like, is there like a supervision required?
That is.
I don't.
There
think
is
so.
for the hourly people, I do believe, because we have an employee handbook. And I think there's something in there pertaining to that.
Cause then that's gonna have to be looked at in the employee handbook as
To
to.
see if there's an elected official needs to be with them,
Correct.
then we'll address that, if it has to be, then so be it. But we already, like I said, we voted on it, we have to try it, and then we can,
And I believe it was a unanimous vote.
yeah, we can
so
go back to
that's
Monday,
something, you know.
or I'm sorry, we can go to the next month and adjust it. But we gotta do what we said we were gonna do across the board for everyone, and what we said was we're gonna have a late night, we gotta start having it, starting next Wednesday.
So I guess maybe the most appropriate thing is not to vote on a motion to extend it, but to
carry it out.
to vote to carry it out
Yeah.
beginning next Wednesday.
Right.
Because that officially it should be tomorrow too, but obviously,
Yes.
you know,
Next
but I mean,
time.
if we're doing everything by the numbers, we wanna make sure we have a clean record. So we can go back to them. We
Yes.
should have a motion that says that, you know, there was discussion dealing with this late night hours that didn't happen. The board, you know, wants to make a motion to carry that out, the board's wishes, beginning now on
What date is that?
whatever, Wednesday,
18th, 19th
the 19th.
So I'll put a motion,
to begin it next month.
I'll put a motion to start the late hours for the township hall that was agreed by the board last month's
In
meeting,
December
in the December meeting,
board meeting.
board meeting to start the late night sessions on February 19th from 2 to 7.
2 to 7. And it needs to be put on a website.
But it'll get adjusted. We can get that done. A second?
I will support your motion.
All right, I guess we'll have another vote. Stan,
A motion to start 2 to 7 PM on Wednesdays, as of June 19, as voted on at the December meeting.
for trial, you said, to
Well-
try it out and see how.
You don't have to put the trial on, just,
Can revisit
we can
it.
revisit it, just that's what we voted on, before it started.
All right, so everybody good with that then? We'll do a vote. Dan,
Yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Andy,
No.
I. Stan,
Yes, it's that.
motion carried.
motion carried, sorry. I missed that one. Um. All right, so we are at what, address the tax situation? Well, the only thing I had to say about that is we have a lot of complaints about the taxes not going through. We've had some people that had paid twice. They paid electronically, e-check didn't go through, wasn't processed, so then they either went to the bank and paid, or they came in and they paid again, and then the bank electronic transfer went through, and then they paid more. And this one particular guy owed $5,018.03 and ended up paying $13,211.10. So we gotta pay him money back.
We don't have to pay him. for
So
that.
anyway, I don't know how all that works as far as how they overpay and they get reimbursed, but
Does Point pay to send them the money back?
Yeah, so Point and Pay, we've talked about this at other meetings. Point and Pay was taking the money from the taxes on the website and it was going off in space. They couldn't figure out where it was, blah, blah, blah. And after multiple calls to BSNA and then looking at it because it's actually Point and Pay runs off BSNA's software. Out of nowhere, it just started working and on February 4th, they processed a bunch of payments. A lot of them were even summer payments, like that guy you were just talking about, Brad, he actually has two of those were winter payments and one was a summer payment. And, they overcharged them. They were sending people who paid through the website in the summer, sending them notices saying that their payment didn't go through.
I got one of these.
So that wasn't true. Point and Pay did send out, or BSNA sent me an email, and I gave all you guys a copy, but didn't keep one for myself. And it just says, Point and Pay, let's see, the last, cause I sent BSNA another, email saying, what the heck, what's going on, anything new? He said, the last thing I heard was from Point and Pay this morning, they said They are working on the refund. They also stated that if the customers experience any fees from their financial institution, they will ensure to cover all those fees as well. So, we have sent them, I've sent them twice, all the ones that need refunds. And, that particular guy that Brad is talking about got 2 of his payments back, but not the 3rd one yet.
Well, there's other ones too. That was just one
Yeah,
particular guy.
Well, I know, but that particular guy got 2 of his 3 payments back. There is other people. And I check every day and every day there's like 1 or 2 extra that gets refunded, but they haven't
That-
all been
That's crazy.
refunded
If
yet.
you take 13,000, that might be all their money. They
Yeah,
can't pay
that's
their
what I
other
said,
bills.
especially because some of them were
So-
e-checks. So
When did you get that
She
information?
said the 4th.
the 4th is when that happened.
Cause this was the 6th that
Yeah,
he
this letter here.
still
says the
was
6th, but
overpaid.
the-
The
Right,
6th
yeah,
of
because
February.
it happened on the 4th, and then I called and said, what the hell? And, we called on the 5th, talked to, for 3.5 hours, I spent on the phone with BSNA and Point and Pay. And then I messaged him when I got here on Thursday morning, or the 6th, I think it was a Thursday morning, and said, what's the update? And, that was the update that he sent me. And going in and checking, more people have gotten their money back, but not everyone yet. And I can't do anything about it. It doesn't come out of our account, so to speak.
Were they
Point and Pay
depositing
does
that, are they depositing all that into the township's bank account?
wherever Point and Pay puts that,
They
so,
put point and pay
yes,
right
into the bank
into the
accounts.
bank account.
Correct, yes. So then it comes right out automatically, however they do it. So I don't know, I don't have any other answers other than what they told me.
So we have to wait for point pay to make the adjustment. We can't go in there and take it out. And we're,
Because here's what's gonna happen, just
We'll take
kind
it
of
out
like
and
this,
they-
we'll give it to
right.
them back,
Okay.
and then Point and Pay is gonna take it out, and they're gonna be double paid back.
gotcha. And are they not,
So,
doesn't sound like they're cooperating with you, or they're just kind of
No.
limbo? Point-
yeah,
point
they're
pay?
just slow.
So is that
so-
something, because Angie brought up a
So,
situation, it could be someone's whole life savings that's,
absolutely,
trouble.
that's what I said.
is that
'cause
something that
some
we
of
need
it
to,
Was e-checks.
is that something we need to put the attorney on to pressure these people, because these, it could be people's livelihood, or someone, or is that something Bruce needs to talk to, or Bruce, maybe you got it, or I'm sorry, Bruce.
If
Brad.
they have over,
So
Brad, you need to maybe call and stress that this could be
No.
everyone's,
if it's
funny.
BSNA, they won't talk to me, so
if they have,
I'm not authorized to be on that account, so they
If
won't
they-
talk to me.
if they overdraw the account by that error, what will happen?
Well, she just read, they said they're
Well,
getting the money.
They
back
will,
and those-
so the overdraws, whatever fees the people get, they will cover the fees. So
They'll cover the-
everybody I talk
cover the
to,
penalties, but that
Yeah.
doesn't help someone if they go in and they want to kick money. out of it,
Exactly.
they Take out.
Exactly.
Or they need to make
Alright,
a
well-
house payment, or they need to
Right.
groceries.
So we need to
so,
put pressure on these, on this company to do this a lot faster than what they're doing. Should have been done
Yeah.
yesterday, somehow, whether,
you don't even get to talk to them. You call there, you sit on hold for an hour, and then they sub you right into their voicemail. Sorry, we can't help you. Leave a message, we'll call you back.
well, maybe Brad, maybe, I know you can't per se talk about what's going on, or maybe someone get to someone to know the situation.
I can try,
If they
but
don't want to, then maybe it's something that we have to put an attorney on.
that's the thing.
I have to talk to.
He's not gonna get.
Well, I
any
understand
more-
that to talk to you, but maybe putting more people on it to get to someone to talk to. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, you have to talk to people, but if you said you can't get to anybody,
When I-
Yeah.
the more at it to get someone to speak with, the better. You would have to come down to an attorney officially, you know, how, you know, that they could,
Well, they gotta be
Because
authorized,
I know if
I
it was me-
guess, but
I know if it was me and I went to get some money out and I couldn't because of a mistake, I'd be hot.
yeah, I know, but I think everybody that talks to those people gotta be authorized. They will not tell
Well,
me
we
nothing.
gotta-
So Kim has the
Okay, well, then
authorization.
Let's Kim try
I
again,
am who I am.
I've been trying,
And
I
then-
do it every
and if
day.
not, then we might have to put this in Steve's
All right.
hand.
So
And
it's
I
in the
will-
works.
And come to say that, I refuse to use Point and Pay once this tax season is over. And, BSNA is starting their own electronic fee transactions and, where they're accountable, when you call them, you talk to them about it. So I signed up to get on the list to have that happen.
I'm in favor of that.
Because
Okay,
I'm
We
not
can't have this
Can-
happen.
point pay yet.
can I ask a question also about, the, people that paid last year that wanted to have their taxes processed so they could write it off this year on taxes? What happened with that?
They can still do that because they did pay them last year, even though it didn't credit it, they can still use that as their tax write-off. So, because they did technically pay them
But does
last
it
year.
show it in the system? You have
It
to have.
shows it, they have they got a printout with a number that's, you know, a confirmation number that says, you know, blah, 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 I don't know what it actually says, but I know they got a confirmation.
Yeah, somebody said.
So they can use that to show their account, whoever they use. So yes, they can still. But
Okay, then we can move on to the ARPA money. The ARPA money,
Go any further.
Oh.
Have you paid tax payments to the counties? the
no,
schools?
she said that I could wait and,
Okay. Only reason I'm asking is you did, I did read something in the MTA that said if you sign the checks and send them out, you're supposed to send me give me some kind of documentation, so I have a record of it. So it doesn't matter, if you know you're gonna do it.
cause I have to go through it all the time.
Okay. The ARPA thing, G, so that tax situation was just an FYI. The ARPA, that's going to be the same thing. Stan thought we had spent all the money, he said, and I just printed this up to show you guys. This is off of BSNA. This is what we have left, $66,567.45 as of the end of the year. So, or end of January also.
I do have something.
I did give you that. And then these are the documents for all the stuff that we contracted to do so that we could have that money accounted for so that they don't take it back.
So the previous board did use all the ARPA money. Or I should say allocated all the ARPA money. It was already allocated, PB even moved it on November 14th, the end, for Parks and Rec. Because you're putting down, at the park on Gratiot is gonna be a big gazebo and stuff, I guess. I don't know exactly what's going there, to be honest. But the money has already been allocated, even though we still have it in the account, it's actually not there because it's already spent. The guy just hasn't
Correct.
done the work yet.
Correct. But Stan thought we had already paid all the money out, but it's just allocated. You're right.
Yeah, but
It's this, I gave you that, it's the,
Yeah.
Well,
it's for the
Right.
orchard.
yeah,
if it's my question, Angie, is if it is allocated for a project that doesn't get done till 2025, if we used it all up,
If you look at this, we have $66,000 that hasn't been spent. It's been allocated. There's a
Correct.
difference. Allocated and spent. This is money that we are going to pay out once the work is done.
correct,
That's what we had to
yeah,
have
so once the work is
spoken
done,
for by the
so we
end
have
of December.
contracts for that.
correct. But at the end of December, I thought that we tried to move 35,000 or
No.
32,000 to roads and bridges for the work on Brad Street.
No, we didn't move anything. We didn't move anything. He approved. This is, and you guys, you got it there. This is what we approved. It says here, various road project, ditching and various road. This is how I wrote it, ditching various Columbus Township roads,
So
$35,000.
It can be used
That's what we
anywhere.
approved on, and that was from Clint in December.
right.
We didn't
We
allocate
did,
it
we
for
just,
any
we
place.
discussed it to be used on Crawford Road
said it.
because Jerry wanted ditches clean, and he's been complaining for 30 years. He's been trying to get it done for 30 years. It ain't something to, it's not about me. And it hasn't been spent yet, and it could be used for something else later on, because we will be getting more money in, but
We just had to put a generic.
yeah, we just had to
thing.
put something on there,
But-
so.
What I'm trying to say is, it was, or the 66,000 was already allocated at the last
In
meeting
December.
of, no, not in December, in November, at the last meeting you guys did as a previous board. The end of the money was allocated, so even though the money shows it's still here, it's really not
We
here.
had to have a signed contract to prove it. This is the one for the orchard construction, which you have a copy of, and Bruce signed it. Here's Bruce's signature.
Have a problem with that.
I gave him, it's in one of those piles somewhere. And Bruce signed this. This one here is the 1380 that we have to pay to King and King for the ARPA reporting that we have to do. We contracted with them to do that. So this is their invoice they sent me to show that, yes, that's how much we're gonna have for that. And here's, so then what we had left was $35,187.45 after the pavilion and the audit. So that's how Brad got them to give us a $35,000 road agreement. And that accounts for all the ARPA money. And we have 2 years to spend it. If we don't spend it
2 years.
in that time frame, then the government gets it back.
Well, the PB made the comment at her last meeting in November that all the ARPA money was used up.
She may have said that this is what it
It was
says
allocated.
here. I called.
Right, if
I
it's,
called King because you were questioning it. This is how he told me to look it up. And I have no other signed contract except the one Bruce gave me. And then she told me that King and King did the auditing on it. So I called them and they said, yes, they did. And they sent me that. And so that's what I have to have. If we allocated something and it wasn't signed contract, it's meaningless because this is what the government wants. This is what our proof is that, yes, this is what we're going to do with that money. That was what they were requiring, and that's what we did. And if she said it was allocated, we talked about it, and I distinctly remember Bruce saying, we have to have it committed by the end of December.
Right, and that's why he committed it at the end. So I think we should look into it a little bit more
Well,
because.
you're more than welcome to. I've spent probably 10 hours trying to figure out if there was something else. I see nothing else signed. I have no signed.
well, I
contract.
think there was $9,000 that was gonna go to township planner to review the master plan.
Can't. We have never even signed a contract with them about that. We've discussed it several times, but the last time I talked to that guy from the planning, he said we needed to talk about it. So it sounded to me like he had nothing in writing from Bruce.
I got a quick question.
Is ARPA gonna pay for that $9,000? Because it sounds like the ARPA money's all earmarked already.
It should be. That's what I'm saying. That's an earmark. If we discussed using it to pay the planner, we never got anything from
Roads and
writing.
bridges, the open contract, that's why we changed it over to them.
I'm sorry, I don't
You see, you
understand.
said you had to have a signed contract by the end of the year. Is roads and bridges, that's where you guys said you put it, right?
We contracted 35,000 with them. We've got 30,000 with Orchard Construction to put a pavilion at the park, and then 1,300 for the audit. So that accounts for what was left over of the ARPA money. We could have done, it was basically supposed to be used for infrastructure. And then it was kind of, we could do what we wanted, but this is what we all went out to the park, we did a ZBA meeting to get the reduction on the setbacks. And that's what was left over. Because I did see when I printed the one report, we did the budget, adjusted it for the ZBA here. Because we had to pay 500 for that.
So we're just addressing this, there's really nothing, we're not.
Dan was just questioning it, and
Just question, so-
that's why I tried to get all the information I could to show him, you know. I
understand what you're saying, but let me show you this really quick, because this is what I pulled up. And this is the day that Phoebe moved it. she moved, 60,000, or it was 60,000 for 24, 45, it looks like 132, but she moved 72,000 to make that 132. So if you look, and then the end balance is 0.
This is under Parks and Rec.
Yeah, because that's where we moved the money to, was Parks and Rec, because that's what's getting billed.
But, yeah, but this here is what unearned revenue ARPA grant. This is where
Yeah, that's.
they told me to get their unearned
At the top?
revenue. It says it says grant fund. That's not the same exactly.
Yeah, we should look into it more, because
Cause see, they don't even have the same GL numbers.
this is gonna be a big deal if,
These aren't
we
even
spend
the same.
money that we don't really have.
Some of this, see what you're looking at? This is what was budgeted. It was, the original budget was 60,000. She amended the budget to add another 72,000. And to do that, we did that to pay for what D&E did at the park.
No,
That's
but
the
she
word.
moved it on 11/4/14, I mean. That was because at your guys' meeting on the 12th, we earmarked all the money for all the ARPA money.
This D&E is work that was already done.
So, and maybe I didn't print out the right one then,
And we
I
need
don't
to
know.
we need to look at that.
Yeah, we definitely need to look at it, is all I'm saying, that we can't be
Well, it
spending.
doesn't matter, because if we didn't, if it was allocated, it's allocated. But this is what we agreed to. If we didn't, I mean, but I know the pavilion was definitely part of it. And we had that access, but we can check into it.
All right, so we will table it and research it some more.
Yeah. we can do that.
I'll make a motion to table the ARPA money issue.
I agree.
Well, we have to bring it to a vote at the next meeting, right?
No,
You already voted this, so I don't know. I feel like we're just tabling it to get more research to see if.
Yeah, just making sure the table, just make sure the money's in.
I just feel
Yeah.
like
Wanna
we
make
should
sure we're
table
doing
it
it
till we
right.
get more
Yeah,
information.
table
Yeah,
is-
say that,
yeah.
table it to get more info.
and then we'll readdress it the next meeting. Okay, so support second.
I'll support it.
All right, the vote will be Stan,
Yes,
Kim.
Yes.
Jared,
Yes,
Angie.
Yep.
Brad, yes, motion passes. Okay. Next on the list is the credit card canceling. He canceled.
Kim paid the bill. I called the bank and she said if she paid the bill, we could get reinstated. I got this invoice yesterday from them and it has a $41 late fee and $16.39 in interest because of what paid. But I wrote a check out for the new dollar amount of purchases, plus the interest, plus the late fee. And if we send that out tomorrow, we should be back on track.
Right.
So I guess that's enough said on that.
Enough said.
All right.
All right, so, excuse me, address the bonds for the deputy and the treasurer. All the bonds have been paid, right?
Yeah, they're all the bonds are fine.
Up to date, nobody's been canceled,
Nothing's
no matter what you
changed.
heard on Facebook.
I called him up because he said, he called me or emailed me and said Kim wanted her aunt bonded because she made a mistake because you said you thought she didn't need to be. So I said, yeah, go back. So I got a new copy of her bond.
All right, so we're all good with that.
That's all.
Okay, so this is, we're gonna do that version of the motion for the deputy work schedule, deputy treasurer. And you have that, Steve,
but
that video?
what's the, I mean, I understand what the topic is, but what's the, or is it? What's the business?
We wanna know what the deputy treasurer was allowed to work. So that video that you have and played will have a motion on there saying that she was, allotted to work till the end of the year, and then in February, we were gonna reevaluate, and we did have a vote on that. So you have that video.
Yes, I'll send it to you in an email.
It was actually, the way I recall it was, he would work 20 hours a week through December, then 1 day a week through the fiscal year, and then
Do
we
you
would
have that video?
revisit it in
No.
February because, for the
Okay.
budget in
Let's
March.
just see the video, listen to the video here, and that'll tell you everything.
You have it there. Sorry about it.
The deputy treasurer work until the end of the year. 4 days. Yeah.
Or it is necessary, if she doesn't need to be here, things are going
Can you
good.
back it up a little bit?
She has to be here, I don't know that job, so I can't tell you what she needs. I'm just trying to be.
What's she want me on right now? Did you say on the practice officer? Yes, we got all this checked out. Today we got, we found a folder with a bunch of mortgage companies and stuff that needed copies of the taxes, and that was paid. So we did get that done today. Every day's in the day. I like it.
Familiar? Job and I say.
Yeah, she's very, she's never been, county treasurer, no, she has not, but she is familiar with the,
Yes, I mean.
the program and stuff to do to help get it done. So,
They have a motion, we need a second motion, I'll second.
support,
Okay, no, there's
supported, who supported? No, I said we need somebody to support.
Or. Alright, roll call then, Rania, so this is till the end of the year.
Till the end of the year, and then we will revisit that in February.
Oh, yeah. Yes, those stands right. Brad, yes.
Yes.
Kim, yes. Angie.
No.
Okay.
So can we play that again and back it up a little bit, because you missed the context of the motion
I
that
only,
Brad actually had?
I only have that clip, but I,
Okay. I have it.
It's pretty clear to me.
No, it wasn't clear at all, because you actually even said that we will compromise, because I was trying to do the whole year. And you said we would compromise, give her all of December, do 1 day a week, January, February, March, revisit it in February for our budget in March.
What did you say on that video just now?
hold on, there was a lot of discussion, and I've heard the whole entire video, that is true. There was a lot of discussion about that. The issue, I think, lies with the fact that the last modification of the motion was a clarification when Jared asked prior to a roll call vote. That I think becomes part of the issue, right? Is that Jared said, so it's to the end of the year, and then it was confirmed by you who brought the motion, yes, and we'll revisit it in February. So now, I can understand there was confusion and everything else, but that was the last kind of modified version of the motion, which then got voted on after it was clarified by you when you brought it. Right? And so when there's, what we have is, we have a clarity on that, what the vote was for, because Jerry would have not voted for anything different because he asked that question, what is it for? It was clarified, then he said, okay, I vote. And then we did a roll call vote. I mean, it's messy, which is the reason why I've said to everybody, we need to kind of have things a little bit more laid out and understood, and then close discussion, like Robert Rules of Order requires, and then vote on the motion. But the way the board has been proceeding has been to do these kind of last minute changes, a concurrence on it, and then a vote. What we do have is a vote of everybody except for Angie. Angie voted no on the motion as finally modified through the clarification with Jared. Right, because there was a lot of discussion on it, right? So where do you say, well, this is where we draw the line, and that's where we draw the line? I think really you draw the line there, right? Because that was the last clarification and the last ability for anybody to object or anything else or say no, right? And everybody voted on that understanding. Now, that doesn't preclude the board at this juncture from making a different decision by any means. But I think that the video is clear, and you guys can even decide what you guys thought the vote was, right, off of that. But I think that the video, the audio that everybody heard was clear enough to show that the vote that was officially tallied for was an understanding that was clarified by a question from Jared to Kim with regard to what he was voting on. And the clarification was, the motion is work until the end of December, and then we'll revisit it in February. And that was the end of the discussion before the vote. So I think that's the parameters of the voting.
Can you go back to when she put the motion?
That was when she clarified the most recent part of the motion, though,
That was the last clarification.
before the vote.
Well, because I made a first motion and then Brad compromised it. Then I started to make the second motion, which I only got out through December. And then somebody else started talking and it never came back. So when he asked that question of that, I was under the assumption he was asking full-time for December. And then we will revisit for the budget in
February.
Sure.
Because,
To the end of December.
But you guys did vote
Because-
for the end of December, though, that's.
Yeah.
no,
For the
but
day of full time.
we had full time, but we were
December.
saying 1 day a week for the
January.
first 3 months. January,
till-
February,
till Here we are
March.
now to discuss it now.
Correct.
Yeah, keep in mind, I got here on November 26th, we walked in the front door and he said, taxes are high, I guess they know by 12/1. Thanks to the town.
Anyway, so what
other
is your
township that
opinion
helped us
So
with it.
do you wanna rediscuss this?
Well, I don't
Do
know
you guys
what's-
wanna rediscuss it?
Yeah, I would like to read.
The question is, what are we discussing?
Keep our back. Supposed to be- I haven't learned anything other than how to process taxes
Okay.
in and out.
But I guess the question is, what is this conversation about?
I mean,
We're disputing what was said because it's right there.
If you'd like me to make a suggestion. Right, I think that. I would say that the vote is very clear, right? Based on the last clarification and basically the call to the vote and then a vote, right? But it doesn't necessarily get the business done. Is there an understanding? Is there a compromise? Is there a revisit of that now? It is February, right? That is required. I mean, time has already expired, right? So instead of going backward, right, we're here, it's February. So the way the motion ended up, whether or not it was the intended consequence or not, we're here.
Right.
So why don't we work on making an understanding of what is necessary for the deputy now? And what is being asked of the deputy, right? So just to be clear. The deputy, I also spoke to the MT about this. The deputy as among the other officials here are not subject to the same wage laws and everything else like that. A person can work for free,
Mhm.
right? So
Correct.
whether or not the person actually works for free is a different story. That's, but. So there's a few issues. There's one, the appointment of a deputy. There's an allocation of a salary.
And which was what, 20 hours a week?
No, I'm just talking about, that's kind of already, all this is. Whether it has caused problems or not, it's kind of water under the bridge, right? If we want to move forward, I'm just saying there's considerations that you can have. And, it's for you guys to decide, right? I would say that Kim should propose it because it's her deputy, right? But ultimately, under the law, the deputy is there as somebody who is there to be there in Kim's absence, but does not have to be given any other access to anything, any other time, or in some cities or townships, the deputy does all the work, right? And is given a salary and is more full-time than the actual elected official, right? It's up to, based on, the deputy serves at the pleasure of the treasurer, but also with an agreement with the duties with the board to some degree, right?
Okay.
So if you want to make those discussions, you can do. So if you want to give her full-time position, however you want to pay her. But what I would suggest going forward is that we have a very clear call of the question, call of the motion. Say, here these things are, is everybody satisfied with the motion? And then let's vote on it, right? To dispel any of this confusion, cutting in, cutting out, or anything else.
But we have to go back to what did work already till the end of the year thing. We gotta straighten that out first before we can move ahead.
So.
She wants to get her paid. We wanna pay her. We wanna get it straightened out so we can pay her.
So what's the motion?
80 hours for December, it was 4 weeks at 20 hours.
I did her, I added up her time cards, and she's right, it's 80 hours, but she went to Frankenmuth, which was not an authorized thing. I mean, that should have come to the board,
Okay,
but it
well,
should have come, I feel like it should have come to the board, or come to at least Brad and say, hey, are you okay with me taking her to the training?
well,
That never happened.
that's why I just had you note that in the minutes. When Angie said, or Kim said that everything should be brought to me first before it is, the $500 limit and all that stuff. That was in,
Everybody, we did this here, and this is out of the little.
and I do have another thing too from the MCL, which says supervisor shall have final responsibility to prepare and present for approval and control of the expenditures under the Budget and General Appropriations Act, which is, that would be an expenditure.
Did that. And then it also says expense reimbursements must be authorized before the expenses.
Before.
So I have a problem with that Frankenmuth thing, because that was like out of the blue.
Wasn't out of the blue though, it was.
But you never. but,
There's never been a requisition form.
So personally, if it were me, I would.
There's
pay
never
her
been a
70
requisition form signed and approved.
The 72 hours she worked. And then she did come in January, but that wasn't part of the motion, so I.
All right, so how do you want to go about doing this then? I mean,
So you don't want her properly trained, is what you're saying.
Never said that. Never said that.
Took my deputy for a training. I came to Bruce and said, hey, is it okay with you if I take Jennifer to the Homeland Security training? He said, yes, you can. Didn't do it until I got his okay. That's what I'm saying. We have to have some sort of chain of command
Structure,
that
yeah.
things aren't just happening
Okay.
willy-nilly.
Did you look through the packet there where I noted on the back of that Frankenmuth thing? Where she could have took the class online for $150. They both could have sat there and took that class for $150, but it ended up costing us almost $1,200.
It did not almost cost us $1,200, first of all.
It was $600 just for the two people in the class.
It was $150 a person, right here, Frankenmuth, 2 people, $150. It was the exact same price as taking it online.
But you would only have to pay for one.
No, you wouldn't.
But then how much was the mileage? How much was the mileage?
I don't know how much.
How much was the
mileage
hours we
offhand.
paid? You want to pay her for being on the road and
8 hours.
I didn't charge you for being on the road, I charged you for
it's,
the time. in the
it's on
class.
there. It's in the
It is.
book.
I
Yes, it
charged you
is.
from the class started till it ended.
That's 8 hours.
Five-
7.5, okay.
No, 3 hours, an hour and a half each way, but I didn't charge you that, I only charged for my time in the class. If you want me to make
Wait, say that again. You only charge the time in the class?
the time in the class.
How many hours was that?
9, 8:45 till like 5 o'clock.
How many hours is that?
That's how much
8
time
hours.
I
That's what I just said.
didn't charge you that. I have in the past, but I did not do that.
All right, so what do you want to do with this? Make a motion for something, or do you want to discuss anything more, or what?
I mean, I can suggest a motion if you'd like.
Please do.
I would suggest, so as to the issue of getting paid until the end of December, right?
Yeah.
I would make a motion to ratify what was already approved, which was getting paid until the end of December. But I would also, I mean, if we're trying to like have competent people and everything else, we're talking about the difference of $150. I would also, on the same, in that same motion, approve the expenditure for the training at that time. Get this issue wiped off the map here, or off the slate, and let's move on to the business of the township. Instead of squabbling over $150.
It's more than
So
that,
what
but
about
if
the
that's what you want to do.
Well, so that, well, I think we can have a motion dealing with everything up.
New Year's Eve. and
Well, that's
people were coming into
December,
township To pay taxes, we had lots of people show up.
but that's December, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
But then there's still, I came in January and I went to a training in Fort Huron.
Well,
Free
hold-
training.
I would say, based on the final vote, there was no authorization for any payment for that. You're a deputy, you have the ability to come in for free. Hold on. But
Bryan
if-
came to my office, he and I sat down.
If,
And we went over my hours. You wanted to make sure that I was on
And
the same
if
page.
the
And I
board
said-
wants to
4 days
retroactively
a week,
appropriate the
5 hours a
funds.
day, 20 hours a week max. That's what we said. That's what I said.
January was 1 day a week until you guys reviewed it. And that's what you and I talked about after your meeting that you.
That's what I
approved.
recall.
You were there?
Because You came in and sat.
You were in the
with me.
office?
Okay,
So-
can I make a motion to ratify the motion we made to approve the deputy treasurer working through the end of December and pay her the 80 hours that she worked in December at $20 an hour? And I also want to put in there that we approve me writing the check tomorrow and getting it to her tomorrow, so she doesn't have to wait any longer.
Well, I'd like to add to that, I'd like to make a different motion then, or add it to your
We
motion, or.
can't make a different motion. We have-
Yeah, and we can, this will take care of December.
This will
Well, you
take
still
care
have
of what.
I know, but
Now
let's,
we're in
well, let's,
February.
this is something better, I know, we'll get there, let's just get you December.
This is what we approved, paying her through the end of December, and if that's the case, let's pay her the 80 hours. Let me write the check tomorrow, because I don't wanna have to put it on next month's check register. So we would have to approve paying her right away
For December,
for December.
leaving January still in discussion, we'll just take care of
Yeah,
December.
that's-
And
that's
I,
January, we discussed-
Okay.
Do that in this
Can-
meeting.
Can we call to order? I mean, I think
Yeah,
the board, excuse me, ma'am, I know you have a vested interest in this, but the board at this point is actually trying to make a decision
Understand.
very peacefully, and you're disrupting it.
Excuse me.
Okay, so can you just let the board do its business right now? Cause this is, the
Absolutely.
confusion and discussion that kept on
Absolutely.
bouncing back and forth
Absolutely.
in December is exactly why we're
If I
doing
need
it.
to speak, I raise my hand, is that the proper?
You
protocol?
fill out a form and you do it
How
before
do I know
everything,
when it's discussed until you start?
because
talking?
it's in the agenda.
I
So-
second your motion,
Okay.
To pay,
Ratify
pay
the
December,
December. And
pay her December of 80 hours.
pay 80 hours at $20 and approve the check being written.
What about the training?
I put it in there.
January's.
I put it in the 8 hours.
Oh.
It was 72 hours punches and then 8 hours training. So we'll
No,
pay-
it wasn't.
Yeah, well.
No, it wasn't. It was in January. I
No,
believe.
we're talking about December.
I
We're
know.
only talking about December.
Was there not
I
a training in
understand
December?
that the-
You went to Frankenmuth in December.
yeah, they went to
That's what
another
I'm
one
talking
in January, and it was
January isn't-
without,
Frank moved,
Okay.
all the selling expenditures,
Free
I
training,
probably-
that's how banned.
okay, so Stan, or Jared, what did you say?
Jared-
I second
Yeah.
the motion.
Okay, so we can have a,
Hold on, let her read the motion over again.
Okay, ratify what was approved in December and pay the deputy 80 hours at $20 an hour and approve the payment. Right now, I don't know how to word that, but approve the payment today. So that I can write her the check tomorrow.
That includes her training too?
For December.
Everything for December, and I can write the check tomorrow.
to the end of
We
December.
don't have to wait till the March meeting to approve it.
Okay,
That way she doesn't have to wait.
So we're gonna,
I second
that, hold on, before that's the motion. Is that still what you understand for the second?
Yes.
Okay. Now we can do a roll call vote. We'll start right down, let's go down the table.
All
Carrie?
right.
Yes.
Stan,
Yeah.
Kim, Angie,
Wait, what did you vote?
I'm asking you,
I'm trying to keep it in the order you asked. Okay, yes, I say yes.
Brad, no,
Motion carried.
motion carries.
Now I'd like to make another. I would like to make a motion that we use the deputy treasurer 1 day a week, 5 hours a week. At $20 an hour. For the next 4 years. And in the heavy tax time that we could talk about increasing her hours when it's, major tax
Can we
time.
discuss this before we make a motion? Because I brought this up the last time when you said you wanted her to work 1 day a week. I said, if that were the case, then I need my deputy to come in 1 day a week. Because she only has been trained in election work. She knows nothing else in the whole clerk's department.
Then
And
you
you,
can make a motion to have that, and that's fine. I'm
And-
just trying to make a motion right now for my
Well,
motion.
I
This
said
is
the
my
deputy-
motion. And let me finish my motion and then we discuss it. First we make a motion, then we discuss it. So I wanna make a motion that we use her 1 day a week, 25 hours, $20 an hour. Starting this week, and that she does get paid for the hours she worked in January. Because that wasn't how, being that December was our first meeting that we actually made motions and it was all screwed up. I was under the impression when I voted that that's what we were voting on.
Can we do that?
Sure. Tell me which way to do that.
So I guess let's start with the motion with providing starting tomorrow, right?
Yes. 1 day a week.
1 day a week, 5 hours, which 1 day a week, which is really just 5 hours a day. Right.
so she will
Yeah.
be subject to the rotating Wednesday night also.
Well, no, she's not gonna work. Right, she's
It's
not gonna
still
work 4
8
days a
hours.
week, she's gonna
No,
work 1
She's
day.
gonna work 1 day a week.
And that 1 day is not an 8 hour day, it is a 5 hour day.
Correct.
Okay,
Is it gonna be a designated day or a day that, how do we decide that? Or are you just gonna pick
She
a,
works at my.
so you're just gonna pick a
I'm gonna
day?
pick a day, yes, whatever day I need her, like at the end of tax season's coming up, a Thursday's a great day. Because we're trying to get money into the bank, we have, disbursements to get out, all that kind of stuff. So, the end of the week is better. I don't know, once tax season's over, I don't know what day of the week is better.
Okay.
I'm new, I don't know.
so the motion, just to clarify before we have more discussion. Is 1 day a week, that day consists of 5 hours in that day.
Correct.
And you want to pay her $20 an hour.
Correct.
So that's the idea, that's the motion. Discuss it, we can have this, you guys can have discussion about it. Do you like that? Do you not? If there's questions, whatever, and if not, then you can move to. Basically end discussion and move to.
I don't think we need her personally. What needs to be done now is the taxes need to be, when they bring them in, you just do it on a computer. It's a 1-person job. It's a good learning lesson for you to stay on it and to learn it good or well and to keep working for the citizens, that's all. I don't think we need to pay, I don't wanna put it in the budget personally. I don't want another, we got lawyer fees in the budget, now we're gonna have a deputy in the budget, then Angie's gonna want a deputy in her budget. Personally, no, I don't want any of them in the budget. So what do you guys think?
And you want her to step in my absence, but you don't want her to have any training or know how to do the job. How does that make sense? Honestly, how does that make sense? If she never gets to
Tell-
come in and work, then how do you expect her to come in
She
and
can
step?
come in with you and learn. You pay her.
That's how it works.
Do you think, I know you and your family think that alike, and I've even had your husband and them come in to apply for a builder's, be a building inspector and all that, wanted the township to pay for everything, his builder's license, his state certificate and everything else. So, we don't wanna keep doing this. We don't wanna keep paying out.
Contractor,
We don't-
or I asked you if you wanted a contractor.
All right,
Or somebody to work
enough.
on the township.
No, you brought me up.
You're not gonna talk about me without me defending myself, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, what do you wanna defend? You came in,
You're lying.
you came in to ask me for a job,
Brad,
right?
Brad,
You came in to ask me for a job.
Brad, hit the gavel. We're
Sidetrack.
getting, the motion is for your help. Stan, you were
I
gonna ask
don't-
a question. What were you gonna
I
ask
don't wanna
about?
pay for more.
Okay, you already spoke.
Well,
You didn't
here's
want
the
it, so
thing.
it's-
I got a question. You've been going to classes, you wanna learn the job, you want your deputy to learn the job.
Yes.
Angie said her deputies only worked in elections. If something happens to Angie or she's out for sick for a period or something, will her deputy be able to come in and fulfill? No.
Instructions.
So what's the point?
The point is, I think.
We need to seriously look at allocating a certain dollar amount for a deputy clerk and a deputy treasurer and making sure that they are properly trained.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, I have a question about that then. All that $1,900 we spent extra a couple months ago that we allocated for all these MTA classes. Why aren't those being used? Why do these people have to travel for 200 miles?
Well, here's the
and do
difference.
this?
Have you ever
Why?
went to a training class?
Yes.
That's not what we're discussing, Brad.
Yeah, Brad, because now we've already made it.
This. And so if we wanna do this, then if that's what you want, Stan, then maybe we should, I know you don't like this, Stan. But then maybe we should make the motion that the deputy clerk and the deputy treasurer each get to work 1 day a week.
5 hours a
5
week.
1 day a week, 5 hours a day for $20 an hour. And if Kim wants to revisit that, I kind of think, my feeling is, well, if I know I'm going on vacation, maybe I won't have her work for 3 weeks, because then she can work 3 days while I'm on vacation, right?
Can't do that, yeah.
Well,
I mean.
You just said
could,
1 day a week, right?
but-
Well, I mean,
or
if it's
just, or
20 hours a month, how about that? I'll
Oh,
change
yeah.
my
Well,
motion.
how do you phrase it? If you say 1 day a week.
I mean,
gotta-
you could do it so many days per year, or so many hours. per
Yeah,
year.
the hours would be that way, you could bank,
I'll do hours.
right? You
I'll
could
do
bank,
hours.
moves all in one week.
Yeah. So you wanna do
20
something,
hours a month,
but then some months have 5 weeks.
Yeah.
and if that's 5 weeks,
There's
then
52 weeks times 5, 260 hours. Right, that would be
okay,
one, right?
260 hours.
I don't agree with a 4-year term, though. I don't wanna commit to nothing like that.
1 year.
1 year to make sure your deputy and your deputy get adequately trained.
Yeah.
How about 6 months? Try that first.
No, a year.
So is training going to be a condition of this allocation?
Well, I think Stan, I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, but I'm assuming what you're saying is my deputy's gonna come in and I'm gonna say, hey, this is what you need to do. Like if somebody comes, like I get a phone call like I did.
Or a customer walks in.
Yeah, or like I did Wednesday night when somebody needed me to arrange a burial. Or this is what you do if you have to sell a grave. That's what you want. Or if somebody comes and says, can you look this information up for me? This is how you do it. I don't necessarily have to send them to a training session because it's stuff I know how to do and I can train her to do it. Kim, on the other hand, everything's a little new for her too,
Right.
so it's a little different in her training. Things change. But maybe on that day she comes in, and if you came in, you two could learn that stuff together.
But, yeah, that's
So-
fine. I mean, training
So just
is
260 then?
different. But, yeah, 260 hours.
Well, I guess if you think training's different, and I mean, that makes like, not just like working on the job, then that can always be brought up
Well, it.
and then allocated at the meeting
Right,
before.
right.
It was something like when I said I wanted Jennifer to go to Homeland Security training for the election. That's above and beyond what she would normally be working.
That's requisition with approval, and then you do the motions for that later.
I mean, you could do that as it comes up.
There hasn't been a requisition form filled out
Alright.
yet.
So it's 260 hours, what you said,
260 hours.
for deputy, for the clerk and treasurer.
All right, I'm gonna write this down.
Okay.
So
All right.
write
I'm gonna
it down
make
and I'm
a
gonna write it as you
Motion.
go.
So you're gonna withdraw your previous motion.
Yes, I
Make it
withdraw
the
my previous motion. The new motion is that we have the clerk and the treasurer both have their deputies 260 hours a year.
A year.
20 hours a month for calendar 2026, just say for the year.
For the year, it's 260 hours at $20 an hour.
What about tax?
And that tax time, then we'll revisit and get more hours if we need.
So 260 hours at $20 an hour.
Correct.
Okay, I wrote clerk and deputy, clerk and treasurer have deputies work 260 hours per year at $20.
Is that a piece?
Yes.
Yes,
How do you get 260 hours?
I did 5 hours a day
Times 50.
times 52.
20 hours a month per person.
times 52 weeks.
Well, yeah, I guess 52, I was going by 4 months a year, a month, 4 weeks in a month, but.
All right, so that's my motion.
So just to repeat again, the motion is for the board to authorize the deputy clerk and the deputy treasurer to work up to 260 hours per year at $20 an hour.
Correct.
Do we have a,
With no training.
no, I don't think that was the motion.
No.
So that was your motion? Do we have a
Correct.
second?
Can we put on there 260 hours for the year of 2025? Because you say per year, that's assumed Nelson, you said per year, they could just jump in the next year, we're doing it for this year.
And will that cover the January hours?
Well, are we talking fiscal year or
Calendar,
calendar?
Calendar year.
calendar year.
So I'll call the motion again. Clerk and treasurer deputies, or the deputy clerk and the deputy treasurer. Shall work up to 260 hours a year at $20 an hour for the calendar year 2025.
Correct.
I said,
Okay, then we'll have a vote. Stan,
Who-
Yes.
Who supported?
I did,
Jared,
yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Brad, no. Motion carried, yeah, sorry.
But I think that now that that motion's there, it covers the January.
Yes, I was gonna say, so now for her January pay, that is into her 260 hours.
Right.
So if she worked 80 hours in January,
So then
that's
that,
all, she has a balance of how many hours left for the year.
and that would, even though she didn't punch, she went to that training, we can count it.
You did punch one day and then
That-
the training we went to at the county.
Well, the pay would be pay's gotta be by time card, we just can't be just throwing hours out there. If It's got
Right.
documented time here, should be paid for it. Up to 260 hours, and the
Yeah, but
January.
some of the trainings, like the one at the county, you don't come all the way here to punch to go, you know what I mean? Cause then you're wasting.
Right,
time
well, then
in between.
On something
So-
like that, if Brad approves of the training, then he documented that so-and-so is at training on this day from this hour, this, that. To us, is a documentation where you're at and your time is
So
covered.
what are we assuming then for this January?
Whatever, I guess whatever, I haven't seen the hours, I haven't seen the list.
She had one
Oh,
day
'cause-
Should be
yeah,
in the,
and
I
then
haven't gotten it yet, but if she
yeah, 'cause
just,
I just, yeah.
she has hours for January.
She has
she-
one
every
day.
day-
Punched one day and went to training, but, so there's no punch for the second one.
How long was the training?
8 hours.
8 hours, so
7.5, I think.
So we're looking at 5 hours, we're looking at 13 hours,
Yeah.
13 hours for January.
So do you wanna then make a motion to acknowledge that 13 hours were worked by the deputy and that,
Should I go get that paper with her hours, just to clarify that that's how many hours it is, or
If you'd like, and
it's up to you? I got
I mean,
it.
if
I
You
got
want-
it.
there-
20
you-
hours, then,
Did you dispute the time is 13 hours, good for January, is that?
yeah, it was 8 and 5,
Okay.
so.
It's
13
it's
hours.
right here, it's right here, 7.5 for the treasure training with Molly,
Okay, and then she was.
January 13th.
Okay, so 7.5, I thought it was 8, but if it says 7.5, that's what it was,
Okay, and then we have something for 5 hours?
yeah.
Or she punched.
Um, That would be in a different section here, but, no, I only got the one.
Um,
Almost 1 o'clock till 6:45. That's what I got.
Okay, so we got
so,
So why
that
don't we,
over to 13 hours.
why don't we just
You
put
know.
in, why don't we just put in pay for the training and the hours punched? So that if we make an error, or I can walk in there and grab her time card and tell you guys the exact amount.
you've already allocated
Yes.
260, and it's
Yeah.
coming off of
Right,
that.
that's fine. How do you
So-
wanna word it?
Or just say, pay the deputy
Pay the deputy-
treasurer for work, for the work.
For January
done
hours.
January hours.
So I
Yes,
think that's already covered in our previous.
So I don't have to, so.
but I don't know if you need anything to
so-
write a check for it or not.
Is anybody bringing a discrepancy on the time? I guess that would be the
No,
question.
I'm
On
not
that.
disputing the time. You know, should I write a check for that?
yes,
So can I incorporate it into the other check?
Oh.
So I do 2 separate checks?
Yeah.
Okay. So then can we make a motion that I pay the deputy treasurer for January hours?
I make a motion to pay her
I
January,
just did. You have to support me.
oh, I thought you said, can we
No,
make a?
I said, and I make the
So-
I
motion to
support.
pay
All right, what's the hours? Say it again.
whatever they are. They're not more than 15. I don't
And you
think.
have the time card in your file.
Yeah, but I thought you were doing it separately.
I am. I'm doing this one for her January check. I
So-
made a motion to pay the deputy treasurer for her January hours immediately. So that as long as you approve it, I can write that check tomorrow also.
I second.
Cleaner for 2
No,
separate
Kim already
checks.
said.
Oh, did she?
A
I'm sorry.
second, yeah.
A separate check for December and one for January.
Those mileage and.
So we call the motion?
Pay the deputy treasurer for her January hours.
All right, do we have
All
a
right,
second?
so-
You second it, right, Kim? All right,
So.
Jared?
Yeah.
Jared, Stan,
Yes,
Tim,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Brad, no. All right, so we are done with all the deputy stuff here. We can move on to
Okay,
move office. Again. Try that.
Well, I put a motion because Steve mentioned earlier about township, is all our house. That's behind a secured door. So instead of moving her office, and I just put a motion that all locks are removed from all the doors behind that. Therefore, you can come and go when needed to get to the safe, to go wash your dishes, to whatever. Got security cameras back there. I don't know what, I'm not saying that everyone's fear going in your office and looting. I don't know what's in there that anyone wants.
In my
But-
office, there are all the voter registration cards with everybody's name, address.
Well, how
social
about,
security.
then the motion is to leave the doors unlocked during working hours, and at the end, of course, they can lock everything up. But I'm just saying,
That's not a bad
when
idea.
during working hours, all doors are unlocked, therefore, there's no need to move anybody.
Okay.
That's how it used to be.
And then, gotta get to the safe, going to get out to get in the safe. That-
And move the kitchen stuff back.
Yeah,
where it
that's fine, we
belongs.
can get to that, but I'm just, leave all doors unlocked during working hours.
so who's gonna unlock them? Right, so if Brad's not,
Well, Brad, and then the motion, Brad's the supervisor, if there's a key, then Brad should have a key to everyone's office. And that way, those are unlocked, it all falls under him. If you're missing your potato salad, then you gotta go to Brad, because he was the one.
Well, you said there's cameras, right? So you-
Right, well, yeah, so I put a motion, my motion is during the working hours, that all office doors are unlocked. And that the supervisor has a key to everyone's office in case someone's not here, you know, someone's not here at 9 to unlock their office, Brad can unlock it.
I still think it's a security issue.
I'm kind of. It's not that I want to be complicated, I just don't think that I'm allowed to leave my office unlocked with the people's money in it. I really don't think I am.
I understand you say that, but what's the difference of the money being in that safe and locked in your door? And everyone's here to agree that you can put the money right by that door, that drop box, that's not in your office, and it's just sitting there.
Correct.
So I'm just saying, what's the difference? I mean, it's money sitting there, money sitting in your office, can't secure that back door, that's not your office, then I guess by what you're saying, then that safe needs to be removed and not used.
No, it can be used,
Well, then
it's
it could be-
locked up.
It can be used, and so is this safe in here is locked up. So I'm saying it's one or the other. If that safe is usable out there by the door and it's not locked in an office,
Mhm.
then your safe should be the same way. It's bolted to the ground. I mean, we gotta, you know, and that alleviates moving your office, and if Mike gets checks, you go in there and put them in there. I mean, the other option is moving your office, and then we're gonna go through this about the safety.
And then we're gonna have cost incurred by
Yeah.
high tech and Unitel.
Right, and
Can
everything
we
just
Can
stays
we
put.
just put up a wall?
I don't even need to
No,
put up a
then
wall,
we
it just
defeat the
stays put, I
purpose of-
mean,
We're
I-
having a break.
if we come down here,
But my office isn't a break room, Angie,
When
that's the
there's an
thing.
election, we have to have that, if you put up a wall, which is another expense incurred, which will be more money than us moving computers
No,
and
it won't.
phones. Oh, absolutely.
during an election, you can go run like a screen thing, or on a curtain. To separate if they have to go into the election, but during the work hours, it's just basically a few people going in and out of that you work with all day. It's not like someone's coming from the public and asking, can I go in your sink and wash my plate? It's the people you work with.
Is there, I mean, we've been throwing this all around, right? But is it not just easier to restore that room to a break room or a multi-purpose room
Right.
and move to the assessor's office? I don't think that, I mean, if it's,
Voted on in a meeting.
The assessors, believe it or not, the assessors are talking about this at other communities about them having to move their office. That they don't think it's fair that they have to move their
Well,
the
office.
assessor's not on the
Assessors never
board,
run
right?
that.
So.
So
That's why I said, just leave the
I'm
doors
just saying,
unlocked.
it wasn't
Leave
said-
them.
My only concern about that, and I don't think there's gonna be a big technology thing, it's literally unplugging your computer and plugging it into another cord, right, that you leave
Right.
there. I don't think that that's gonna be a cost, but I do appreciate the idea of, you know, for what it's worth, is the idea of an officer of the township that's an elected official who is responsible for money or personal information, having an office that they're able to lock. And if it's moved, the safe stays where it is because it is in and of itself a locked thing. And it's got that little drop, the idea is he's not getting into the safe, he's being able to deposit into
Right.
the safe, right? So it's in a place where it can be deposited because it's in a break room, right? It's no different than if it was in the lobby, it's actually safer there because it's just kind of out of the way, right, and out of sight. But then it can be accessed by everybody. Assessor leaves their door open all the time. Right? And so Kim has expressed a need and a want to lock the door. And I think that that's a reasonable request. I just don't think it's reasonable in the break room where the treasurer traditionally has sat.
If Kim wants to lock her door, then yes, move. Offices, but if she's willing not to lock her door during business hours. Then that's to her.
She said she wanted to lock her doors.
Well, if she wants to lock her door, then she
I
has
see
to,
her,
right,
I see her point. And if she wants her room and she wants her to be able to lock her room up when she leaves for the day, then she needs to move into assessing and nobody's gonna ever bother her. If she stays in that room and we use it for a break room, then she's always gonna say, oh, maybe they rifled through my stuff, maybe they did this, maybe they did that. If we move her into
And
the
nobody's
assessing
gonna want,
office,
you know,
it gives her the peace of mind that nobody's touching her.
nobody's gonna want somebody to go into their office to wash dishes either.
I understand that, but like everyone said, we've already made this decision, it hasn't happened. Why, I don't
Well,
know.
there was a call question with whether or not that was voted on or not. That's Stan brought that up, right? So instead of trying to rehash all that, let's just. The board can have-
Compromise and get it out of the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
That's why I
But
agree.
whatever it takes, let's just get this
Okay,
situation.
So are we gonna rescind your motion?
You wanna, do you want your office locked?
Support it.
You want a locked office?
I need to have a locked
Okay,
office.
then you'll be willing to move, to break the break room for the people, because that's the only other option. Because they ought to be able to get into that safe during hours, because the lock safe, it doesn't make any sense if we have one right by that door. That you can't put money there and
So-
not lock.
Even if I would, though, I still need to have a safe in my office.
That's fine, we'll get another one.
I mean,
You gotta
Well,
have
here-
one.
but I
here-
don't think that that's required to have. a
Here's
safe.
the other option. Them cabinets behind Mike, some of those, you use some of them,
They're all full.
they're all full, cause those are fireproof, correct?
She's got one fire.
But I'm saying is. Isn't there one drawer that could be available where you could put a locked box in there where Mike or whoever, or you, if you need to put something in a box, then that box would be locked and then only she would have a key to the box?
Well, how,
Well-
that doesn't, if we have a locked box, how are we gonna put it in there? if she's
Well,
got
no,
one
you
key?
pull the drawer open on a filing cabinet and you drop it through a slot in the top of you buy a little
We don't
toolbox.
have a File cabinet that.
Sam
does
was not
that.
the only one to use the safe. We already talked about this in January, that Mike has to have a place to deposit it, that the safe needed to be in a general place, so that multiple people can deposit into the safe,
Well,
and then it didn't belong.
but I have a motion or a thought too. Mike, stop taking the tax money and he won't have to need the safe. He won't have to deal with it. You can move in that room, take the safe with you, we'll unbolt it, I'll rebolt it to the floor. And then you handle all the taxes. It leaves Mike and anybody else in this office out of the whole tax collection thing altogether.
What's he gonna do then?
He has plenty to do.
Remember this.
Mike works for all of us, though.
No, he
Everyone
doesn't.
else- Yes,
Yes, he
he
does.
does.
Okay,
Works
can
for
I finish
everyone
my
on the board.
sentence? We have to remember this. Justin takes money in also. He has to have it turned over to Kim because she's gotta input it into the computer. So sometimes people pay him for permits in cash. We've gotta have some place. This was what kind of started this whole thing is taking tax payments. People are coming in with cash. Mike said the other day, "Oh, I've got thousands of dollars in
Yeah.
cash." Well, that's not the best idea to have it and we can't lock it up. in a
I
safe.
agree.
Got locked up. I can't.
But who hired you, Mike? And what was the deal when you got hired? Just say it.
What was what? I'm sorry?
Who hired you and what was the contract or whatever when you got hired? Who do you work for?
The supervisor.
Okay,
And the township,
okay,
in that order.
What's that?
No, the township pays his,
okay.
the township pays.
He
his-
was hired as an
All right.
office
As
manager.
office
We can move on.
So-
He wasn't
so
hired as a tax
we need
collector. I mean,
okay, now we need to make a decision here. Are we gonna make the decision? If he wants a locked office, we have one option. We have to move into assessment. And
Yeah.
if they're complaining to somebody else, they never said a word to me. I
They're not
talked
going
to,
to.
well, they're all involved. If they had an issue with it, I know Christine, I've known her for years, she's worked here for years, so I've known Seth for years. If something was bothering them, they would address it. The only thing Christine said to me the other day was, don't forget, we have board of review coming in the beginning of March. She said, so if we're moving the office, we have to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
She never said, I don't wanna do it, Seth
Seth,
doesn't wanna.
Seth
do it."
was ready to move that
He was.
third Thursday from when
He
we were
was.
supposed to move.
He
but
actually was supposed to have.
He was there and
Yeah,
ready,
he was supposed to have Lisa who works with him.
so
And if
he's
they were
willing to
gonna do
move.
Stuff.
I would say whether or not assessing is talking or disparaging this township is the least of this township's
Exactly.
worries when it comes to the rest of everybody else seeing how everything has been unfolding. So I think that if it's a reputational thing, let's get a motion, let's just get some finality and then let the chips fall where they fall, right? So, I mean, I guess it really comes down to, does the board think that there's a locked office is appropriate? I would say yes, if that's it, right? And if that's the case, then a locked office would be required to move to assessment.
I would like to, if I'm gonna move, I would like to move to the old Tracy office,
The issue with trace offices is that it doesn't go all the way to the ceiling.
Not secure.
but that's okay because I got a safe in my office, remember?
No, because- no, because
Keep
we
going in
had-
circles
you
here.
originally Said you didn't wanna move out of that because we have the locked doors, so we have another layer of security to get to the inner office. And then
I don't understand what the big deal, if I'm gonna move my office, what does it matter which place? I'm responsible for the money. It's gonna be under my care, so to speak. As long as I have it secure, what is the
Well,
problem?
now we have Roland, who is using that office as the
Roland
building.
wasn't using the office, though. He
Well, I
said
went
he's
in there
never in there.
today and he was sitting at the computer doing his work. Justin is in the other office. The building clerk, building official, kind of makes more sense for them to be side by side than for Roland to have to move into the break room. And that would require more things moving, because then he would have to have his computer moved, his phone moved, all the way across the building. It's not even logical.
Folks, whatever you guys decide, the only thing I wanna say in this whole thing, and Jared, you saw it today, Steve, you saw it today, what I had that needed to go in a safe place would no way in the world fit in that mailbox. Okay, I gave Kim a shout. She came right down. We got it locked up in her office. I don't want that to ever happen again, where I have what I had today. We're not gonna go into numbers. That should never, ever happen. I should have access, or whoever is taking money, whether it be me or Justin, we take the bulk of it.
You just need a secure
I
safe.
need some place to put it, whether I have a key to a door, but I am not gonna stuff what I had today. It's not gonna fit in a mailbox. Plus what I had, in her, slot, on the wall there. And then I gave Kim a shout. She came in, we got it locked up and I was out of there, but I shouldn't have to go through that. Nobody should have to go through that when they need to secure funding. So whatever
Let's
you
buy another
guys
safe.
decide,
We don't need another safe. We can't keep spending
Okay.
money, you know?
So let's get back to this. motion.
Okay,
So-
so let's try it out for a month with leaving the door open during hours. And if there isn't anything stolen out of my office, then we'll keep going. But, so let's try it for a month. Then that ends everything. What? Well, I'm not worrying about that right now. So
Okay, so your motion is,
not even a motion. Let's just try
I don't know
it.
if
Why
you
do
have
we
that
gotta make a
motion.
That
motion?
was the
fine with
motion
me.
you made, Jared. You said all the office doors remain unlocked during office hours and the supervisor has the key.
that was my motion,
That was your motion.
yes. There a second? Board,
I really don't want the keys to the other rooms myself personally, because I don't wanna be responsible for anything that isn't.
Mike had the key.
I'm not
Mike
gonna
keeps
steal
it in
anything,
there.
but I don't want them because of allegations. That's my thing. That's why I gave them to Steve when I first hired in here. I gave him all the keys to all the rooms. Just for that reason. I don't wanna be responsible if somebody's missing a pen or something.
But I want to add to that is that we put the break room back to where it originally was.
Yeah, that's what
Because
they really
that's the
want.
key thing.
that's
I
fine.
am sorry, but I am not washing my coffee
Okay.
cup out in the bathroom. That's
I take mine.
unsanitary.
So. The first thing was just motion what I put out there was to leave all office doors unlocked.
For 30 days. How about that? Till our next meeting.
For 30 days or till the next, however you wanna put the next meeting,
Until the March meeting.
till March meeting. And you would have to have the key. Reason why is if someone doesn't show up, cause it's locked at the end of the day, someone's gotta unlock it. Someone's gotta be. the
No, I'll give
gatekeeper.
it to Mike because
Okay, so Mike will have,
Mike is here every day.
okay, so as
Mike
long as the
will-
doors can be unlocked, so even if you lock your door, someone has to be able to have a key. Leave it with Mike, I guess, not to say they need to get in there, but everyone's door needs to be unlocked. If you don't come in on a Thursday, you gotta be able to unlock your door. So everybody's,
They've always had a key to my
okay,
office.
that's fine. So that's the motion. Do we have support?
I guess I'll support that.
Okay, vote, Stan,
Yes,
Jared,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Angie.
Well, we're doing it for a month, I'll give it a shot, yeah.
All right, Brad, I'll give it a shot too. Motion carries.
Are we going to address putting the kitchen back where it belongs.
I thought that was kind of with the deal.
We'll, we can address it. I don't know, I can't just say it, 'cause I honestly, I've never been in there. I don't know what to do. I don't know what has to come out, go back in.
Well, I don't think we need to actually move the kitchen back in there. The door will be open. You guys can rinse out your cups and
Or
stuff.
we could put the kitchen back where it was, where we could have the microwave on the counter and the little oven
Well,
on the counter.
We'll just, right now, we're getting doors unlocked. Next month, we can visit
Good
moving
point.
microwaves.
Okay. So we're good with that. We already had your treasure report, I guess, right? You gave,
It's in the packet.
I didn't get.
Everyone got one. I put it in the packet with, everyone's stuff, so.
I didn't get everything. I was,
It's a Excel spreadsheet.
no, I know, I don't.
I made copies of them. Right here. Or-
oh, this is not her stuff here. So, let's see, treasure report.
It's, reconciliation.
Yeah.
Looks like this.
Yeah. So. What exactly does that say? It's,
Yeah, can I, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I did make everyone a copy, so I don't know why it's not in here.
yeah,
It says the account in the first column, the interest rate or renewal date here. Beginning balance, the income, the expenditures, and the ending balance. And then our total right here.
could I see that, please? I don't think I have them here anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, it should be with the CD renewal.
Let's see, I got that.
This one here, is that the one, this one here?
Okay, so
That's
these are all bank accounts.
Oh, they're the bank accounts, the first ones are the bank accounts, and then the other ones, like the Huntington down here. This is, the CD that's coming up, not till April for expiration. And then
So-
this is the bottom flag star is the one that just renewed.
So it's bank accounts and CDs and that
And
kind of
then,
stuff.
we have another one coming up on the 25th, the Adia one, which is what that,
This area here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Adia.
that was up here, yeah.
So that one's coming up for renewal,
And there's some
at the end
crap
of the
here we don't need, but
So did they- interest rate?
month.
This doesn't have anything, it just says terms.
No, she didn't give me any, interest rates, but I wanted to kind of check around because they're only at 2%, their last one. And-
Just remember, we have to keep it separated.
Right.
Oh, you know what?
We don't really, we got CDARS or Michigan.
Yeah, but you know what?
something.
I talked to First State Bank the other day, and they have something like a CDAR, but it's not where we could put all of our money into their bank.
Yeah.
And then she said she talked to you about it too. And then they diversify it across the whole country.
Yeah,
And so we will
that's what
always
North-
be insured.
Yeah, that's what, North Star does. I did talk to them about it. They're willing to come in, but I don't think right now we should talk about it, honestly,
No, but
like,
if we ever do it, I think we would just stick with First State because our checking and everything is there and we don't have to go through. It's worth checking. It would save having 11 different banks all over the place.
right. Yes, that's kind of an issue. But
So
maybe
when did-
possibly moving this one if she ain't gonna give us a good rate, because 2% is not good rate.
No.
Not when we can get 4.25.
Yeah, you should call around and see, but just remember, we can only get insured for up to
I know.
250 per bank.
I know. So regardless, we'll need to probably pull some money out of it
We definitely will.
and,
We're already-
cause we're already over, so 225, the 25th.
And you get 10 days,
Yep,
so what's 10 days from the 25th?
well, 28 days, the 7th of March.
So it will be before the meeting.
So, no, it won't. Maybe after.
Our board.
Oh,
meeting.
oh, yeah, that's what I mean. It'll be before our board meeting. That's why I wanted to talk about it tonight. So,
How do we address this? We need to make a motion to renew this CD, but we need to pull it probably $20,000 out and put it into the general.
and I don't think, I think more than 20,000, because that will
We're
put us
we're
at,
269,000 right now, and if
Right.
we take 20, yeah, we're only at 240, yeah, you'd have to do like at
30.
30.
But we need to see which account we wanna put it in, where we
We're
wanna
just
put
gonna
it.
put it in the general fund, in the bank account. We're just
Okay.
gonna put it into the checks. We're not putting it anywhere in there. He's gonna get a check from them and deposit it into the check. That's what-
Okay, can we get, a balance report, account balance report for this next month? For all these accounts?
I'll see what I can do, I'll try my best.
So can we make a motion to renew the Advia CD? Withdraw, take 30,000 out of the Advia CD and renew it. But I don't know if we wanna renew it with Advia or.
For the
or
best
say-
rate, for
or-
the best
yeah,
rate,
that's
how
to
about
do
that?
it, to put, okay. Let's say it like this. I make a motion to renew the CD that's at Advia, that's remove and take 30,000 and deposit it into the bank, the checking. And renew the CD wherever we can get a good rate. We're gonna talk about a time frame because that changes depending on how much time you put it in. If you start getting these ahead of time, they'll tell you if it's 6 months, it's this percentage. If it's 18,
Whatever one gives us the best rate,
so you're just gonna do for the time and the best,
the highest number we can get.
the highest interest and that. Oh, how do I word that now? Cause I got.
So how about
we
say-
do have to have these minutes.
We have to have a motion, we're gonna make a motion to take, $240,000 to put it in a CD that gives us the highest percentage rate in return.
I wanna make my motion to say, take $30,000 out of the Advia CD, so we have a round amount to put into the bank. And the remainder, okay, take 30,000. Advia CD. And put in checking. And then. And renew. Wherever
Why don't we say, and the remainder shall be invested in a CD?
remainder invested. in the CD.
With the highest yield as determined by the treasurer.
And then you'll bring it to the board next month, just to give us an FYI.
Yeah.
I
Tell you where it went.
Do I have to put that in that motion?
I'm sorry?
Present the.
I'll bring it regardless.
Okay.
No, but, do we want like an action date, within so many days?
Well,
It
it
has
has to, it renew, or it expires on the 25th,
And you only have
and so I can't do it before the 25th, and I only have 10 days from that day to get it done.
So it has to be done by what?
It
did
has
you
to
just
be
say,
done by
seventh?
March, yeah.
25th through the 7th. Right. I'm gonna put by March.
6th.
Okay. What day of the week is that?
I don't have a clue.
Here's the Friday.
Thursday. Thursday. Okay.
Do everybody understand the motion?
I do have a question though, on that, well, you were saying certain timeframes. Dictate, predict how much more interest, how much more money we made, so.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me, but it's, if you decide to lock it up for 5 years, I mean, is that something that
We
would,
won't do it that much.
okay. so
It'll
there's-
be less than a year.
Okay,
I even give them about 5 years anymore. Well,
I
actually,
was just an
this one-
example, I just
Actually,
didn't.
this one does
Yeah,
have.
it's usually like 6 months or a year at a time.
No. And
18
I'm
months
always
is-
surprised by that, because the better rates are usually for the lower
Yeah.
amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, so just, they don't, I haven't seen any that do them this, so.
Okay, so my motion is to take 30,000 out of the advious CD and put it in the checking, and the remainder invested in a CD with the highest yield as determined by the treasurer by March 6th. Yeah. Okay, did anybody want to support?
Support.
All right, we'll have a vote. Jared,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Brad, yes. Motion carries. So that's, it for treasury report? Is that it?
Then I passed out to everyone a packet with, all the MCLs for everybody's job. Everyone listed,
Well, that's,
just in case.
that's down the line there, but
Yeah, that's where we're at. We did CD expired, right?
a budget adjustment issue, I guess we aren't gonna worry about that then.
We've already talked that.
Discuss that.
All right,
I guess is the adjustment going to happen?
Well, there's a couple things that has to happen before a budget adjustment can be done. So,
I gotta see what the thing is. To move the money. I need one of these, that's what I need to present a budget adjustment, and then I can do my job. So we really can't do it today, so I just say we pass over it, table it till next month. If you have that paperwork for me, then I can figure it out. If you can get it to me before next month, I can have it ready to go next month.
Checks that you signed, said you'd have them today.
yeah,
You
but
can work on your own.
Well, this is, what I need,
that's not what we're talking
what I need is this. I need to know what is in all these accounts and how much, what's the percentage that's,
Adjustments have to be built into that.
right,
They work-
so that's what I need. Okay, those statutory duties, is that what you're looking at?
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
that's,
that what you're talking about?
yep, that's right here.
Okay, I just wanna bring up that- about that. I mean, it's a hand typed version, probably from 40 years ago or something, and some things have changed on there. I have gone through that, and, there has been some things that are different. There's nothing official on that thing that says MCL anything by official letterhead or anything, so I move just to disregard that whole thing until we get something different.
Whatever, I
All
was
you
just
have
doing
to-
it,
all
it
you
says
have-
MCL reference right here, and it's just reference,
Okay,
it
we're
doesn't.
how about if we just do it? This is an
It was just
FYI.
the informational. It
Table.
wasn't-
FYI,
That's
And
it.
just so you
Yeah.
know, if you wanna see what your duties are, you just have to log into the MTA website, and everybody's statutory duties are outlined there, which, by the way, did you call High Tech, Stan, and give them whatever you needed to? Mike, I guess, was on the phone with them for a long time, trying to get you back on track with your emails. Did you do that?
yeah, the guy never called me back, because we had a
Because
password
I tried
issue.
to email you something yesterday and it kicked it back. in.
Right,
I tried it today, Stan, it didn't go through. I think all he needed was a password.
I called, when I called that later that day, I left a message for him to call me.
Maybe give him a shout tomorrow or something.
What's his
give him a
name?
minute, Get it set up.
Is it Mike?
No, that's one. So the guy from High Tech is,
Robert should be the guy.
There's Jerry, there's Steve, there's,
there's a whole bunch of them.
Ian.
All you have to do is call and go where you want, tech support. It doesn't have to be a certain person.
Prompt
They
two.
have us in there, and, if they have an outstanding thing, all they have to do is log in and tell them what township, and they can see what.
The
they
guy I
have.
talked to, Stan, was Jeff. He's there pretty
Okay.
much all the time. Give him a shout.
Well, the number that I was called was the one that I had previous when we had high tech issues.
Okay.
It's 810-326-9000.
I was just gonna say, I can text you
I happen to
tomorrow,
know that
one
because
that
I
I
called her.
have.
So Jeff is who I should be talking to.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
Well, there's a couple guys, but yeah, he's all right too. And if they don't do nothing, then call me and I'll get on the phone.
Yeah,
with
all
them
I need
too.
is a password again.
Yeah, I don't know if that's all you need. I mean, it might,
Well, that's what he told Mike on the phone.
Yeah, I'm thinking all he needs is to get a password in. The tablet that you have should be fine for email.
Yeah, and if you're having trouble with that one, they restored those other two that are sitting in my office, so you could take one of those if you wanted a different one. Did you have a different password you were using before and now it,
Yeah, somebody closed it out or shut it off. Maybe that was automatic when the new board came in.
no, cause he physically took those and worked on them. So that one.
Yeah, I don't know how that-
It was actually out of the, you had to put the whole thing back in. That's what, took a pretty good amount of time to get it in, so just give them a shout. If you get any problems, just call me tomorrow.
yeah. Okay, so, that's good with that. Yeah, you got problems with that tomorrow, like,
Okay,
so where are we at? The treasurer
First,
expense
packet.
packet.
So I put together this packet you guys used last month. And I'd like to be paid for the MTA trainings that I paid for the township. Of $807.50.
Okay, can you just read off some of those? That the training on that for the 807.50 again?
That was the difference between Angie paid.
No, I mean, what the classes were that you took. Read them up.
I have
No,
the
it's
certificate.
somewhere here, so. I just had that thing.
Can you get us copies of those certificates?
No, it should be, oh, it's in this pack.
Why?
Yeah, no,
Give up copies
not there.
of the
Okay, so this is
I don't
this
know
is what I'm
that.
looking for right here. The classes that you took. Better budget, advanced, paid what and how, budgeting, board compensation. Authorities, responsibilities and roles, what the board needs to know about tax collection, what you need to know about tax rate request form. Tax collection in your township. What every board member needs to know about assessing. Special assessments for public safety, who can talk to the township attorney and when, spending public money. Financial reporting, financial fundamentals. Public use of property and facilities. Webcast package, prudent policies. I wish I hadn't said that. And in the transition. So do you have any, documentation? You took all these classes?
I didn't take all of them. I didn't think I took all of them.
But you paid $807.
Yeah, because I had to sign up. Those were all the ones I was gonna take. You have to sign up and I got them for half off. So then when we decided to upgrade to the premium membership for $1,900, you paid $92.50. And I paid the $807.50 that I was supposed to be reimbursed for. To make the $1,900. So that everyone could use the premium membership.
You're not asking reimbursement class, you just want reimbursement for the package at the township.
No, she wants
has.
$800.
No, I want $807.50.
Yeah, but it's for the, it's not class you took, it's for the package to get
For
to the class,
package,
yeah,
right,
that we
to
agreed on.
That we
Yeah.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. That I did not understand.
Then Staples, when I went to Staples and bought a bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
For taxes and for the office and other things.
You have, well, that receipt's in here also.
It's for $319.90.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about this last month when I said, well, Mike orders it, we get a discount because
Right.
we have a business account, we don't pay sales tax.
Right, but we didn't have a credit card at the time.
Okay, but
That's why.
some of these things were, I don't understand. I don't even know what a GPP tree season is, Expo Low Chisel or something. I think that's a highlighter, which we have in the cupboard.
To be honest,
Plastic, something, I don't know.
positive what all of them are,
Bird magnets,
what?
this is BRD magnets, oh, board magnets.
Yeah,
Post-it notes, which we have a whole box full of.
We didn't have any at the
Yeah, we
time.
did, cause he buys a box of like 24.
We didn't have any.
Post-it 4x6 something, magnetic pencil. There's something for $19.99. Oh, that's paper there. A card file from $42.99. Hammer wheel 24 pound, that's $19.99.
That's
Assuming
paper.
Paper. A 3x2 high-end calendar, $69.99. I just feel like, as this one thing I said, I had here, expense reimbursements must be authorized before the expense is incurred. I know some of this stuff.
exactly.
Some of this stuff is being frivolous. I mean, we're not making our office pretty unless we wanna bring our own pretty stuff in. I wouldn't ever dream of expecting the township to pay for a high-end $70 calendar.
It's not a calendar, it's a
It's-
whiteboard.
Okay,
I guess I wonder why when you have a clerk bud, you needed, I'm always so careful about buying stuff that I use, because I think if I can make do with what I have, why have an extra expense for the township?
well, I agree with that, but I just have a problem with the purchasing and then asking for the money back when it clearly states in the MCL stuff that, you gotta fill out a rec form. We got the policy here. That was noted the first week that you guys were here. We were all here. We all discussed it. Fill out a rec form for anything you want. Bring it to me. And then we'll see what you need.
I understand that.
And it did not
I
happen.
asked permission to go, and you said, when we first started, our first few weeks, before we got the credit card, before we got anything, you, whether you admit this or not, said, as long as we stay under $500, we can go get what we need and then come back and fill out you didn't have to have the pre-rec form before we went. And I even asked you for the stamps that I paid for down here and said, am I gonna get reimbursed? You said, yes, as long as it's for the job, you get reimbursed.
Well,
And I didn't have time because I was super busy in a new job and didn't have any instruction on how to do anything. That I wasn't really thinking about
okay. Now, the way I remember it is,
Because
You
I
came
didn't
to
need the
the-
money right away.
you came to me with a rec form. You said, I need stamps, paper, and envelopes, because I gotta do my job. You came to me with the rec form. I signed it. I gave it back to you. You totally disregarded that, threw it away or whatever, and that was the last I heard of any of it.
This is
So
the-
that's my side of the story.
The rec form I've ever filled out.
No,
Yes, that's why I signed it at the bottom, because it's the only one I've ever filled out was this
okay,
one.
why did you sign at the bottom?
Because I signed it at the bottom because I filled it out, and sign at the bottom, so you know I filled it out. That's why.
Did I authorize that?
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Did I
not-
authorize that? Is my,
Understand what she's saying. She's saying she filled this out and signed her name, so you would go,
So
who's
you,
asking for this? And you would go, oh, it's Kim. That's
but
what
I
she
never
said.
seen it.
I'm just
I've never
saying,
seen
That's why
it.
she says she signed it. I get what
I
she's
just have a
saying.
problem with spending money egregiously, okay? You know, I came in here to try and save this township money, and we have been blowing through money like, these people here have no idea what has been being spent here. And I'm just trying to get it under control and stop the
And
bleeding.
the bulk of it is on a lawyer.
Well, maybe so. But like I say, all right, let's move on.
So we have to make a
No,
decision.
because I
Are we
want to be
approving this or not?
reimbursed for this.
Are we approving paying her all of this or not? We have to know, I wanna get these,
And I want my mileage for December also. That's on here. You got me.
I do have an issue with this. When we did mileage, and we've done this, and Stan, you know this, it's always been mileage from the township. And then the shortest distance. And why are you going to the Memphis post office for 13 miles when you can go to the Richmond one for 9.4 miles? That's 4 miles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, that's 24 extra miles. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up.
I go to the Memphis post office. They. need-
Why?
Why?
But the point
Because you
is-
live by there.
Because I go to the Memphis one because they're small, it's nice there,
Well,
I don't know, that's.
You,
the
you
one
live
I go
at,
to.
you live at 10336 Weber, and that is closer to Memphis than it is from the township to there.
Shit. You just.
I'm saying, why would you go to Memphis when
Right.
Richmond is closer?
Right.
Because I'm going from home, I go up there, I turn around, I come back and I come here.
Take the $2 off and just pay her.
Don't go to the post office anymore, let the postal come here and pick it up here every day, they come here. and pick it
Yeah,
up.
We do
we'd
put
say,
them-
we'd
do.
solve
We have
that.
postage
right
meter,
away.
we have a box. This.
I just-
Some of this was,
you know,
had to go by.
I
state.
just,
Some of
trying
this was
to-
like-
And a lot of it was taking tax bills, like,
I get it,
like.
Okay.
Some tax bill.
but
again,
it's
Why-
waste.
do we have to make a
Because
motion that we have to use the Richmond post office? It just seems silly that we have to, but that's the
Well-
logical thing to do.
My thing is, I'm just trying to cut the waste, Kim. If you're not seeing my point of view, because I'm supposed to be doing the budget, you keep saying it's, I gotta do the budget. I'm trying to cut the waste, okay? So if you live on Weber and you go to Memphis, it's like 3 miles to there for you, and then instead of going from here to Richmond, it's 9.4. You're charging from here to Memphis, which is 13 point something. You also have charged for twice the trips in one day. One time the place was closed. You went the very next day at the same time and it was closed again. I mean, doesn't that register with you as far as trying to save money and thinking, well, I can't go at that time because it's lunchtime? But then again, the next day you did the same thing and charged us twice.
And that's the other thing.
So I'm just trying to cut the cost, that's all. You know, I gotta watch the budget. I'm trying to save
The
money.
post office in Richmond doesn't close for lunch. And another thing is, I used to take my ballots. I used to take my.
We can understand how you all feel, you know, you just wanna make money, but this is not what the job's about.
Talking about saving my $4 and we have an $11,000
So
attorney bill.
where do you start?
I don't understand,
Well-
like,
Well, can I finish?
It
what I
starts little.
Can I finish what I started to say? When I used to do elections and I drove the ballots every day to the post office, the board said, that's a waste. You're driving to the post office. We're gonna put a lock box out there that I have the key and the mailman has a key. And we did that to save the mileage of me driving. So if we're talking about saving my mileage back then, which everybody agrees we should do, this is no different. We're just, we can always say, well, it's only this, it's only this, it's only this, but eventually it's this big. You have to.
so this is 15 days in. I was new. I don't know exactly how you guys used to do everything. Because again, there was nothing left for me to look at, to compare to, nothing. So, you know, you gotta take in a learning curve also.
But you're not letting me take in a learning curve sometimes.
I've never
So
said
here-
anything
so,
about
okay,
that.
So, okay, can we just say moving forward, would you please use the Richmond post office?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I wanna clarify this too. It's gonna, all the mileage, if you're gonna account for mileage, it comes from this township.
Yeah.
And you take the closest, you take the shortest distance route to do the job you gotta do,
I
okay?
already take
To save the
shortest
township
route.
money. Maybe it's pennies, but at least you're saving something.
This is what the board.
I
is
do take
I know.
shortest
Yeah, we have a policy on it.
The shortest distance.
Yeah,
The shortest.
you could
distance
save all
from
that money.
There
is.
They didn't because they.
But I have a question for you also on the FedEx stuff.
By state.
Okay, a little bit of order, please, please. The FedEx stuff. What
Yeah.
are you, where are you going and what are you delivering by FedEx?
We had, it was something tax that we got, Jim, what was the FedEx thing? Do you remember?
It was some of the escrow stuff.
Yes.
So
It
why
was
is
something
done?
from a
why
bank,
did you have to go?
Why does it FedEx? Why can't you?
because they gave us a return envelope for FedEx, paid for.
And that's
We
the
just had to
and
take
that's
it
the
to,
closest one?
yeah, that was the
I know.
closest one.
We found
That
that
was-
envelope and that folder in Kim's office for all the escrow, and they.
Yeah,
one
and you
of
can
them
only
did
beat a
give us
dead horse so many
FedEx.
times.
So
So
we
I
put
went
it,
down into Richmond looking for FedEx, couldn't find one, so I had one in Marine City, I just took
Okay.
mine because I got a tracking
All right,
number.
all right.
It
all
had to
right.
be there in a couple days, cause we were so late.
We need closure on
Yeah.
this discussion. Do we have any additional discussion to add? Is there any action that anybody wants to take on this?
yeah.
Well, here's what I think we should do. Knock off the 13.2 and the 13.2, which is what, 26.4 miles. And now she's gonna understand that she needs to go to Richmond to the post office. And I make a motion that we pay this to get water under the bridge. If she's new and now she understands the proper procedure for requisition and for mileage.
Yep. But you're talking about saving money, and yet, right here's a bill for the locksmith for $130 to get to
Okay,
my
then-
office. No, we're not, I'm not done with my packet. So I just got
So did you
A
see,
reading
so what?
for
that's
my
still-
miles, and you spent $130 to have a locksmith come out and get into my office. And then the next day when I asked you about it, you lied about it and said, no, you didn't do anything to the handle.
I did,
So I go all the way,
I didn't do nothing to it.
yeah, you did, you approved it.
Right.
You approved it.
Mike needed to deposit cash into the safe. He was bugging me to deposit in the safe, so I said, fill out a rec. There you go. He filled out the
So
requisition form.
$130 spent,
Yes.
rather than call me and go, hey, can you come up here?
If you wanna start getting nitpicky, we spent $70-some on late fees and interest, so let's stop. It's over, it's done, like Stan just said. it's
What's the-
water under
what's-
bridge,
what's the
let's
motion?
move on.
I'm saying the motion to pay Kim for everything she presented here and knock off 26.2 miles on her total miles.
Thank you.
Well, wait, I make a motion to knock off the double mileage for the same place on the same day.
That's what I said.
No, there's more than that, though.
No, there's two.
What's this? The bank and the post office are at the same place. The bank and the post office are the same place. Bank and the post office are in the same place.
They're different dates.
He's taking one off.
18th and the 18th, the bank in Richmond and the bank in the post office are a half a mile away. I tried to double.
That's not this one.
But if that's what you wanna do to move along, we'll do it.
So we're going to pay.
Make
her
your motion.
mileage That Stan already did, we're gonna pay her mileage minus 26.4 miles and the requisition form,
Yep,
Requisition form for what?
for all her classes and her supplies.
Oh,
And she knows that in the future, she has to fill out this
Well,
before she does.
The classes were already technically approved.
that was,
Oh, we're
yeah.
talking about that.
We didn't know what those were though.
Yeah. Talking about state.
And I'll apologize for that, cause I didn't know what those all were.
So,
You know, all
okay,
I'm seeing
so
is the crude
Stan made
charges.
the motion,
okay.
who's supporting?
I support,
All right, take a vote. Jared,
yes.
Stan.
Yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Brad, no. Motion passes, move on.
Now, there are policies for all these, right, Stan?
Yeah.
there's policies, yeah, for the mileage. We probably need to review that. And the other thing, I think we need to review the policy book, because it hasn't been updated in quite a while.
It's October of 22.
22, and you do have policy after 22 that need to go in that book.
So they haven't been added into that book.
No.
No, Bruce's plan was to do that, but I don't know if he ever did.
Where are those extra policies?
All in the minutes on.
All in the minutes from the previous 3 years.
If it was an actual resolution that we voted on and signed, I put it.
Work for your money now.
Okay, moving on then.
Our meeting.
New business with the lawyer report.
Yeah. So,
Else I've ever.
there's just a few things that came up. We already kind of spoken about the Tracy issue. It's going to require me to at least respond to his lawyer, who reached out to say, we're submitting it to the insurance company. The one issue that is there that really needs kind of a response though, is what he's been paid and what he's not been paid. He's demanding that he's saying that he wasn't paid certain things. So I received the receipts and checks, for most of them. I'm wondering if there's perhaps one check that was kind of caught up in the mix of the last month.
I do have one check, Tracy's in my safe, because when we gave Tracy his check last month, I wrote in the bottom of the memo, final payment for all inspections. I wrote that on the check.
But that check was for, I would have to look back, but I think that check was for the previous month
Yeah,
before
so-
he left.
I don't think he cashed
So
it.
he didn't cash it. He has cash, he's got 2 checks he didn't cash. Because I did look that up, they're not cleared. And then the one that Kim is holding, there was one more invoice that I never received. And I think I said that in my email. I never received it. I did have Justin go back and from, because on that last invoice he gave me, it was 11/27 with the last inspection he did. So I had Justin go in and look up all the inspections that were done after that Tracy did. He's got some of them that say 12/10, 12/11, but Tracy said Justin said it could have been, that's when he inputted it into the computer. Which then I think, I don't know, if he can access our computer, we need to verify it. He's booted out of there. But that comes to almost what that invoice that he said he didn't get paid for. But again, I never got the invoice.
Okay, so maybe we can connect tomorrow just to kind of get that clear, because I would really like to be able to tell his attorney, but the money issue is a more immediate thing, right? That he has been paid. Now, he may not be cashing it because it has final payment on
That's
it,
probably one.
right? So we might need to get that
Reissue
check
that.
reissued, right?
But honestly, I've seen a bunch of checks. I don't have last month's check registered here, but, we can't possibly owe him that much money. That's a lot of
Just
money.
remember.
I tell you what, you're gonna be shocked when you see
Yeah,
what he
Just
wants.
remember,
I know.
He was charging us $1,700 a month
I know.
just for his 1 day a week that he was in the office. And the inspections were on
Yeah.
top of it.
You think the lawyer fees are expensive?
I mean,
Wait till you
just-
see
just so you
this.
know, he
Oh,
made
my
over
God.
$40,000 in
Oh.
Township in last year.
Why do you think he got dismissed?
So, yes, we can.
All
try
right,
and-
so what else we gotta do now?
So that's that one issue. And then I know it has been already referred to, the insurance company as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we just gotta get the paperwork and everything over to them.
Yeah, and then they need a response. They need to say, hey, this is what's going on, and I can even tell them that we're submitting it for insurance.
Right,
But we need some time, right?
right.
So that's that one. We already submitted the information for the winery to the insurance, and they're asking for more information. I've been coordinating with them as much as possible for that as they do their investigation. And then finally, we received a request or an EEOC complaint, which I am assessing and reviewing at this point, in order to respond. So those
That
are,
can go to the
Yeah.
MM.
that one may need to go there too, but I'm not sure. It hasn't been necessarily a threat of litigation. It's been an investigation request. So. I also believe there was a wage dispute that was issued. I haven't received the paperwork from that yet.
I scanned it in and sent it to
I
you.
didn't see it in my email. I looked a couple times. If you could just double check.
Well, I'm telling you, the county today, I had an audit on the election, and she said, I emailed you all the stuff I needed, and I never got that email.
Okay.
But Brad has a second copy. You could give him that copy that you had on your desk this morning. That wage thing. Remember you, or did you throw it away? I can make a copy. I've got it sitting on my desk.
Just wondering who it was.
And then but
Yeah, but we're taking care of that now though, so that should be gone.
But we still have to address it, I think.
yes. Or at least I have to see what the letter says.
So at least there'll be one issue
Yeah.
off the plate
Yeah.
and done.
So those are just the things on my end. Once I know more, I can present it at the next meeting or via email in the meantime, just for an understanding and updates.
So what is Kelly or
Yeah.
Tracy,
He's saying it.
Tracy's saying he
that's all
got
he's
wrongfully
saying.
terminated and he didn't get paid.
That's why when I got the email from Steve, I immediately looked and I had written 3 of the checks and then I said I didn't have the invoice for the 4th, but I had written those 2 checks. And you had mailed them in December.
The other issue is wrongful termination. So,
But
We'll-
aren't we a work,
But
a
you-
right to work state?
Yeah,
looked at
but
the
he has no contract, no signed contract with him.
Right, but
And he
we're a
came
right
up-
to work state.
We're
So-
right. So we can do that, but he's claiming he had a 30-day clause in there, which it does say something about that on the contract, but it does also say that we have the right to dismiss him at any
I
time,
think Steve, you looked at
you
it.
know?
But even if he did have the 30-day, Bruce fired
He's-
him in November.
he's claiming it was retaliation.
Well, Bruce fired him in December, right after the election, and he said, you can't fire me. And then he stayed, and then when the 30 days was up, Brad fired him, so.
No, well, no, Bruce fired him. He said he had a 30-day clause in there, so I rehired him to take care of that 30-day clause, and I told him that I would reevaluate his employment after that 30-day period. So the 30-day period is on a Friday, he came in Monday, and I had reviewed all his egregious charges for the township, which is $40,000 in 1 year, which I thought was crazy, and he's charging the residents a percentage of the building costs on the permits, and he's just trying to rake in money. That's all that guy wanted was money. It was a business for him. So after he came in on Monday, I said, we gotta let you go, and I'll reassess the situation later. If I wanna hire you back, I will. He came in Tuesday night before the meeting. Kim said,
I know, Kim.
Tracy's back there, what's he doing back there? I said, okay, why is he back there? I went and looked and I said, what are you doing? He says, I'm working. I says, I don't know what you didn't understand about yesterday, but I had to let you go. If you want to hear it, you're fired. Give me the key and leave. Please leave. And he did. And that's when he said the thing about the lawyer. But his 30-day period was up. So now he wanted to start into the next month in the 30-day period. And now he wants permit fees for the whole year because of lost wages, he thinks. So, you know, the guy's out of hand. And we just got to deal with it. That's all.
Okay, are you gonna have to prove reasons why you fired him?
Prove him? Why? Because he charges too much. He's bullying the people. He doesn't show up on appointments. I had people calling me in the short time that he was there, calling me saying he was supposed to be here at this, you know, for this inspection. He's not here. He never called. Can't get a hold of him, blah, blah, blah. And I can't deal with that. Roland's not like that. Roland doesn't charge as much. He's better with the people and he goes out there and does the job. So, hey, we don't need that kind of people in this township. Right. So I let him go.
Thought it was a bad idea when we hired him in the first place, and I said that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. So
Yes, we need to move on. Yeah.
are we done?
No, we did not.
Gotta do B.
Change in the building permit. fee.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
geez.
I don't have that. I don't have that.
Poor thing.
That we skipped over that. So
Oh, that should have been in all your packets too. There's a bunch of that stuff.
but on my desk.
there's no old,
It's all right here. If you guys look them over, you know.
there's no old one to compare them to.
Well, example, Justin and I did a sample if you were building this house. And we had one that Tracy had done all the fees and all the charges. So that was, we knew what Tracy charged to do that. And then we did it with the fees Roland was charging, and it would save the homeowner $1,000 in permit.
Yeah, it was like half the cost.
Go back on a permit. The person applied, go back on a permit, and there's all your fees.
Yeah,
You got your administration fees and everything, so that's, you guys can't say you don't have them, you do have them on the old application for permits, for building,
you
electrical.
would just have to go, Justin could show you.
All numbers are there,
What I
you
didn't,
are higher.
what I didn't like on here, Roland, it says, this fee schedule packet is meant to be only a guideline for Columbus Township. As to rational decisions as well as discretion for implementation of which most are applicable. They have to be a set amount. He can't just use rational decisions and discretion to make up his prices.
There's a sheet here with a bunch of prices on it, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is right here at the front of his, that's exactly what it says.
well, he's not gonna change them, because we're gonna
He's
have him,
not Talking,
Yeah.
yeah,
if he does, then,
This is it, I think what he's saying, this is his example, so we stick with this, or if we want to adjust this,
right,
even lower or higher, but this is what,
and this,
he's not saying this has to be it, but
no,
he's. we
this
put
one
out.
here is the form that Justin has. And these are the fees that he had, and I don't know if Justin gave you guys a copy.
I asked for it.
I think what we need is, we need to get
That one right there.
the old fees.
Yes.
So we can
Yeah.
compare,
Compare.
so that's the table, so the next. we get the
All right.
old fees.
The first
Do
thing
that.
is Adopt these fees so we can start charging the people the correct amount.
I understand it, but until we do that, I guess we have to stick with the old way,
Yep.
until we get a chance to look at this for a month and lower, because. Yeah, I trust what you're saying, it's cheaper, but I'd like to see it.
Well, so now my next question is, Roland is charging us at that new rate, but I haven't paid him for any of his inspections since he started. Because we have not come to any conclusion. I suppose he's not the kind of person that's going to get mad for not getting paid, but we have to make a decision so I can pay him for the work he's doing.
So he's been charging at these rates,
He's been charging
The lesser rates.
and you say they're less,
A lot.
they are.
well
a
then,
lot less.
pay him, but. I understand if that's what you submitted a lower rate than what Tracy would have paid, but until we get.
I guess
See
I-
a comparison, I don't wanna
I
lock these in,
don't- I
but
don't
who's
even
gonna
know.
argue?
I can't honestly tell you if we have anything in writing from Tracy, how he charged.
Well, like Tony said, you can go back to some old permits and gather that information real
I know,
quick.
but some of that may be apples to oranges, but like Tony, when he pulls a permit, it's electrical, it's always gonna be the same.
Right.
Because we're not changing electrical permits, we're only changing building, we're not changing electrical mechanical.
Yeah.
But I'm
Those
saying,
are the state permits. that
what
we're-
I'm saying is,
I know what you're saying, you wanna look at.
We'll get it together for you.
Can we make a motion
You
to
can-
pay Roland
yeah, exactly,
at these rates
Okay,
until we review it?
I agree.
yeah, payroll and what he's
so
charged,
is that your motion, Stan? to
Yes.
Pay Roland, can I pay him tomorrow then?
yes.
Describe the, you don't have to write the
Okay,
rates of
okay.
what rates.
Building
The
official
rates he presented to us,
Yeah.
which is
for
pretty much
inspection
half.
for December and January inspections. At
That paper over here.
the. And he charges $75.
Is Roland doing work not under contract? Like, doesn't he have to give you a quote, you
No,
know,
he's not.
you award the contract,
No.
and then he goes to do the work? That's not how legally how it usually
No,
is
that's
done.
not helpful.
Well, it's basically you hire him to be a building inspector. You can have a contract if you want, or you can leave it open. If it's open like now, you know, you can dismiss him at any time if you wanted to, if there are any problems without any legal action. If you have a contract, you know, you're kind of locked in. I mean, I don't really know what's the best way to go. So far, he's been pretty cooperative and
So you say if we have residents call, then the inspector will contact you and send you out there.
well, yes,
They all.
pretty
Give
much.
you a schedule of fees.
No.
That's-
That's Justin doing that. The people will call in what they need done. He will relay to Roland, set up the schedule, and then bill us or bill the people, whatever, for that.
When somebody comes in and gets a permit, they have to fill out the permit application. And then he, like, say if it's a whorehouse, then Roland has to look at the plans to make sure it all meets code, and it, like, he just did one, and he said he was gonna make them redo it because there were things that weren't to code. So once he approves all that, they have to pay a down payment. I forget what Justin collects now, because we had to make it so that if they backed out, we at least had enough money to pay the costs of what we had already done. So then, once he approves that plan review, then then he will say, okay, these are all the inspections that need to be done for this. He has a form and he checks off every one and says, these are the things that have to be done. And then Justin can input that into the computer, and that chart just puts all the fees in there. And then there's the, they have to pay a bond, and then the township gets a percentage for the admin fees, which pays Justin's payroll. And then they know exactly how many inspections they're gonna have and what they cost. There's nothing, they know upfront what everything's gonna cost them, and then they're gonna pay, and then we pay Roland out of the money we've collected from them.
He's been doing this professionally long enough that he should have a schedule of fees, and he can hand you a piece of paper.
No, every township is different, and there is a schedule.
Yeah, that's what we have here, man. His fees, apparently that's what he's working off of.
Yeah, but no signed contract saying he's employed for a year or nothing like that.
But that's like any employee. It's like Mike, we don't have a contract with Mike, he's just our employee.
Okay, so
He works for the county.
what was your motion, sir?
His motion is to pay,
Payroll, the fee schedule was presented tonight until we review it next month to compare the old rates with the new rates.
And if we wanna change them, we'll change them.
I support.
Okay, take a vote. Jared?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Angie?
yes.
Brad, yes, motion passes. I think that's it for the night.
Hey, Brad,
Motion to adjourn.
can I ask one question? Can you just, can you do, at the end of the meeting, can you make it where there's public comments at the end of the meeting?
We can do that next meeting. It's kind of late tonight, so
No, I don't. No,
let's get out of here. I mean, I'm wore out. Honestly.
I'm asking next meeting.
Yeah, if people can wait and not have the outbursts and stuff, maybe take notes during the meeting. And then before we adjourn, we can go ahead and, have some more public comments, and then you can tell us how bad we are and things like that. I mean, the stuff we can improve on and whatever. I mean, I'm willing to take the criticism, believe me, but it's hard to, I don't know, say everything you want to say all at one time, you're as you're thinking and whatever, but my thing right now is I'm trying to cut down on the cost. We are just spending too much money, and we gotta just stop it and try to be frugal. And then made a motion to adjourn. Who seconds? All right, take a vote. Jared, Stan, Jim,
Favorite.
Aye. Aye.
I'm just doing all right.
Everybody's good with that.
Hey, Jared gave you that paperwork from the road commission. We gotta get the roads that we're gonna